Bonjour à vous tous, mon nom est Carl et j'espère que vous allez bien. Je vous souhaite la bienvenue sur cet épisode final de Roman's Christmas et je vous souhaite un excellent épisode. Le fameux Roman est ici. Ça veut dire qu'il va falloir que je fasse une voix féminine la plupart du temps, puis ça risque d'être très très drôle. Ça fait... C'est cool de pouvoir voir notre personnage aussi. Là, on a vu tous les autres personnages, on s'était jamais vraiment vu à part un reflet flou dans un miroir. Là, on a la chance de pouvoir nous voir qui qu'on était tous le long de ce jeu-là. Donc, regarde. Peter est mort. Peter est mort dans sa chambre. Ouais, dans sa chambre. On sait toujours pas qui l'a tué, mais des traces de pas ensanglantées nous menaient jusqu'au bas de Roman, qui était assis au bord ici. Donc, Roman est vraiment dans un mauvais état, dans une mauvaise posture pour pouvoir faire l'enquête, puisque là, tout pointe vers lui. Alors, Tsarn nous a demandé à Elegant, donc nous présentement, de faire la fameuse enquête à la place de Roman parce que ce dernier ne pouvait pas. Il y a trop d'air d'être coupable. On va espérer, Unlock, que ce ne soit pas le tueur, effectivement. Ça serait quand même étonnant, mais ça pourrait arriver, who knows? Qu'est-ce que ce jeu nous... Salut, Océane, comment vas-tu? Ce que ce jeu nous propose jusqu'à maintenant, c'est assez spécial, donc je serais pas... Ça m'étonnerait même pas qu'il y ait une surprise genre comme wow, le gros mastermind, finalement, c'est Roman. Ça va bien, merci. Content que ça aille bien de ton côté aussi. Ça pourrait être quand même très très drôle, right? Ok. Fait que là, dans le fond, là, faut que je vire mon cerveau à l'envers, pis que je pense comme si j'étais les gars. Ça risque d'être drôle. Tiens, on va la faire chercher un peu. Only a little cider is left in the cup. It appears Roman drools when he sleeps. Oh. Only, ok. On va fouiller un peu partout. Roman hadn't lit the candle. Well, of course, he can see things in the darkness. By the way, tant que Elegant ne parlera pas, je parlais avec ma voix normale. Puis vous savez que quand elle va parler, je vais parler avec l'autre voix, mais dans ses pensées, dans sa manière qu'elle voit pis tout ça, là, je ferai pas sa voix tout le temps, ça va être juste l'enfer. Sinon, puis j'aurai plus de voix d'ici pas trop longtemps. It seems nothing has changed in the kitchen. Still, there is a suspicion that nags at me. Oh, elle a interagi avec ça? Oh non, ok, c'est la chandelière. Intéressant. There appears to be a small rag dropped by the fireplace. I extend my claws to pick it up and inspect it. Splashes of blood, and the edge of are charred, or card, or whatever. Curious. And this texture, it feels familiar. Ok, fait que ça c'est un nouvel indice intéressant. On va aller voir les indices vite de même là. The key holder, the key rack beside our nightstand. Ok, fait que on a déjà ça. On avait Peter's door. The door to the room Peter was in was locked and not violently opened. Ok, fait que la porte était barrée dans laquelle Peter était. Oubliez pas que Peter a changé de place aussi avec la fameuse hyène. Donc ça peut avoir joué un rôle. Il a changé de chambre durant la soirée hier. Non, mais qu'il est couché. Là, Unpindy, oups. Je vais voir qu'est-ce qu'on allait avoir à dire sur cette chandelle-là. Ok, là, c'est just a candle. Les mugs. The cup is left untidy. Je vais juste baisser le son 2 secondes. Le jeu conseille de ne pas porter d'écouteurs pendant que tu joues. Well, too bad. C'est pas comme si je pouvais faire quelque chose maintenant, ça fait comme genre quoi? 4 potions qu'on fait? C'est la 4ème celle-là? A cup. A candle! Surprise! A candle has never been lit before. Les tasses de sang, guys. The blood stains lead from the staircase to the counter. Good. Ok, la même chose. On peut regarder les staircases? Non, c'est exactement la même affaire. Puis c'est comme si les pieds avaient été dragués, hein. Regardez, il y a comme des traces plus comme... C'est quelque chose frotté à terre de long. C'est intéressant. Mon cher Roman. Roman is curled up by the counter like a frightened bird. I have something to ask you. Just say it. His fur is messy, and his eyes are dark and defeated. I know this is difficult, but I believe you are innocent. As a detective, you are not the sort who will harm others on impulse. That's nice, but what about the others? The others? Well, you think I did it. I know that why it's aren't. They didn't ask me to investigate. I do. I'm the most suspicious one for now. But there's something, although I can't totally understand why. And if I were like him, I might have done the same. But there's still something I can't accept. Express your trust. I gently touched his shoulder. Oh boy, you know. His ears twitched and his hand, which had almost gone to his mouth, lowered. Okay. Il va falloir m'avoir faire chaque fois, c'est drôle. I inspected him carefully. He is wearing his coat as usual. The collar band was made of wolfskin. He is wearing a blue shirt today. No blood stains on his trouser. Some cracked, clotted blood on the sole of his boot. There are traces of splashed blood on the boot. Okay, intéressant. Do you remember what happened last night? Nothing happened when I was keeping watch, but I fell asleep. I was too tired because of the cold. But I think I did hear something before I fell unconscious. So what was it exactly? Do you hear where it come from? Did you hear where it come from? No, I didn't know. Roman scratched his left ear and avoided my eyes. Right, there is something weird. What is it? Before my night watch, I checked my right pocket to make sure my key was in there. But this morning, I found my key in my left pocket. Intéressant. Ok, intéressant. Bon ben, let's go, guys. On va essayer de faire parler lui. On va essayer de faire parler Vincel. Je peux pas avoir fait ben grand chose, right? Le bug. What is that? What is that cup used for? I do not know, and I have never asked. Nothing has changed in the cellar. I had better check somewhere else. Oh well, okay. On peut y parler. Vincel, hey, bonsoir la prof, comment vas-tu? Vincel raised his head, and as he... Ça va bien, merci, qu'on t'essaye bien de ton côté aussi. As he saw the trap door open. Come down to the temple of liquor. Roman? I didn't expect you this early. Do I look like him? Oh, Mr. again. Splendid. Why are you here? It was simply my turn to visit the prisoner. Any problems? Vincent turned his bound body, tilted his head, and looked at me. Oh, I guess something happened to that stupid wolf. Yes, Lunik is dead. Did someone miss? Disappointing. Lunik? Ouais. Pourquoi qu'elle parle de Lunik? Well, observe Vincel. The rope loop goes under his shirt collar and is pressed against his green bow tie. I can see wrinkles made by the ropes on his vest and shirt. What did you do last night? Vincent sneered. What did I do? Well, after I attended the opera, I had a lovely dinner at... What do you think I was doing? Well, it was a silly question. Did you hear anything last night? Not a blessing. Bye-bye, Vincel. Okay, kitchen. Il est là. Search. C'est clair qu'il manque quelque chose dans ça. A rag. The smell is unpleasant. A chopper stuck on the chopping block. Ouais, the chopping block. Chopping block made out of walnut. Il n'y a rien qu'on va trouver de président. There's nothing in the pot. There's nothing in the pot. Right. Okay. We are running low on water. Perhaps Tarn could try to cook with hell. Ça, c'est une bonne idée de faire cuire avec la bière. Tarn lit the fire before I could ask if I could search the fireplace. Annoying. Are you sure that all the doors were locked last night? Yes. I lock every single door. Not that it seems to help at this point. Did Peter ever fight with anyone? Let me think. There was that argument between Peter and Roman yesterday. You! Didn't you say you would protect everyone? What? First Cain, then Sox, now Yanis? Even, are you doing this on purpose? It's not like I can just magically... Bullshit! For all we know, you're just manipulating us so you can satisfy your desire to solve murders? Do you seriously hear what you're saying right now? You think I enjoy watching the people I care about die? You think anybody, least of all me, is happy with what's been going on? So sorry. Why did it have to be? Tarn is dressed as usual, with polished buttons, rolled up sleeves, and belt tying his wings. Ok, wow. On peut la faire se regarder dans la toilette, dans le miroir. Qu'est-ce qu'elle va dire sur elle-même, ça pourrait être drôle. My reflection is passable, okay, but not as good as the real thing. It was a bad idea to disguise myself as a nun. My expression looks too fierce. To disguise myself as a nun? De se déguiser? Qui est-elle réellement? Some grey hair floating in the wash tents. Non, on va faire. Est-ce quelqu'un dans la toilette? Non, pas le miroir, come on. Now I see it is probably Roman who always hides himself in here. Ok, non, c'est ça. Ok, ça a comme cliqué sur le miroir, mais ça l'a fait comme si j'avais cliqué, là. C'est quand même drôle, non? Ok, fait que là, on a fait le premier étage. On va aller au deuxième maintenant. On va aller commencer dans le corridor. Il y a quand même un bloodstain à terre. Oh, Stoller! Ouais, on va commencer par regarder le bloodstain. Et, merci. The trail of blood stains in the corridor lead directly from the crime scene to the stairs. Good. The room on the left. No. The room on the left? The room on the right? Pour vrai, là. Okay, whatever. Sutter was pacing back and forth in front of her door. Her eyes focused on the bloodstains in the corridor. Oh, on a beaucoup de choses qu'on peut demander. On va l'observer pour commencer. The clasp on the back of her long dress are surprisingly secure. It must have been quite a struggle this morning. Ok, fait qu'on va partir d'en haut. Your whereabouts last night. Où étais-tu la nuit dernière, n'est-ce pas? What did you do last night? I stayed in my room, as usual. That seems a bit too simple. About bloodstain. Why do you keep staring at that bloodstain? I think it moved. Moved? Moved! And I think you may be mad about the day. Honestly, you should have expected it from a wolf like him. First glance, they look gentle and sweet, the soul even. But if you start to probe deeper to see what secrets they're hiding, out come the fangs. You're biased. That could be said of any canine. I really... Even if you told me that night, it would have been fine. I would have understood. If you had just talked to me. At worst, I would have only become a widow instead of a murderer who stabbed her husband. Why didn't I think he was my husband? Why didn't I think he was my husband when I pulled out that dagger? When Nunik betrayed you, he likely did not care if you were hurt. I cannot figure it out. Roman is no fool. So how could he make so many critical mistakes? No, you don't think he's the murderer? I am not sure, but I am willing to consider the possibility that the murderer is someone else. Do you usually trust others so easily? Only when I have sufficient cause. Fine, but I still think Roman is suspicious. Why? If I remember correctly, this time Roman seemed to insist on keeping watch on his own. Ah, intéressant. Ok. Donc, Yanis, Elegant. Yanis n'est plus là, donc on n'a rien à faire de Roman dans sa chambre. Elegant, Vincent, Roman. On peut peut-être aller voir dans la chambre de Roman. D'un coup, des fois, qu'il y aurait quelque chose d'autre intéressant dans le sac. A blue shirt and a pair of pants. Strange, there was one white shirt and one blue shirt before. And Roman was still wearing a blue shirt. If that is so... Ok, donc le white shirt pourrait très bien avoir rapport avec le morceau de vêtement qu'on a retrouvé brûlé dans le feu. Ça pointe encore vers lui, malheureusement. In the drawer was the arrow from before in the case file. Ok. On peut regarder dehors. I don't care. This is snowing heavily. Lit candles. On va quand même toutes les faire, juste au cas des fois qu'il y a quelque chose qu'on n'aurait pas vu à quelque part. This travel chest is filled with spices and clothes samples. Il y avait rien là-dedans, il me semble. I opened Vince's drawer, which contained a spice sample, a wallet, and a pair of gloves. I reached for the glove and felt the texture with the pad of my paws. This texture. I remember it. Go to Rinth and meet the boss at White Star Tavern in the suburb. It's very close to St. Isaac's Cathedral and the monastery. And remember, not a word about this to anyone. I tap on the table with my knuckles to show acceptance and spread my palms. A glove left hand stretched out from behind the curtain, and 5 silver coins dropped onto my pad. When the hand was redrawn, I happened to brush by it by my fingertips. The abbot has been long gone now, but the priest should still be alive. He's a hyena, the name I forget. Oh, the texture of that glove felt the same as this pair of glove. Oh, Vincent connaissait à... Okay. Oups, quoi ça? Connaissait notre fameux prêtre. Qui est Erin. Je m'en allais dire Henri, je sais pas pourquoi Erin. Ok, intéressant. La chandelle. Pour du monde qui disait qu'il se connaissait pas tout ça. Ça me gosse. Ah, ça pendant que je voulais. Excuse. Ok. Je pense pas que dans la chambre des légumes, on va avoir quelque chose par rapport à quoi que ce soit, mais il y a un sac. The bag was stuffed with my regular clothes. Ouais, c'est vrai. If I knew I would be trapped here, I would have changed before coming. I wish I had crossed off Peter in my notebook now. If nothing else, it would have diverted the suspicion from Roman. La candle. A candle is ordinary that I like the word to describe it. Ok, la chambre de Yanis, il n'y aura pas grand chose là-dedans, c'est ça que je disais. Bye bye. Oh. Ok. Chambre. Chambre non plus, il n'y aura pas grand chose à part les bagages des deux autres. The Marquis, seller's luggage. It would be wise not to open it without permission. Although, the fact that I lack the tools to do so right now is the biggest point. Ok, fait qu'il n'y a rien non plus là. Ah, on peut aller voir dans la chambre des autres, mais je pense pas qu'il y ait quelque chose d'autre d'intéressant. The drawer seems to contain feminine undergarment and anything else. La fameuse cloche qui était faite pour appeler chambre, mais qui peut plus. After that night, the bell never rang again. Je sais pas, il est mort, hein? C'est le deuxième qui est mort. Okay, the candle is on the table with a thin layer of ash underneath it. Good. Rien d'intéressant ici non plus. Fait que là, il y a Erin, Peter pis Kane. Mais Peter pis Erin avaient changé de pièce, n'est-ce pas? Erin's Bible is in the drawer, and that's nothing particularly noteworthy. Okay. Bref, il n'y a rien de notorié à cette place-là. Effectivement, un candle, un lit, soft pillows, which are suitable for suffocating others. What? Pourquoi tu penses à ça? Ok. Ok, où étais-tu la nuit dernière? What did you do last night? I offered my prayers to God and went to sleep. There was nothing special. This repetition grows tedious, but I suppose those with normal lives really have nothing to say. About changing rooms, oubliez pas qu'il a changé de pièce avec Peter, donc ça c'est assez subtil aussi. Why did you and Peter switch rooms? Did you forget? He told me he didn't dare to stay in his room and felt unsafe, so I agreed to switch with him. Don't look at me like that. I switched room out of the goodness of my heart. Am I a suspect now? This is unfair. Forgive my expression. You are fine, priest. The switch was done publicly, and everyone heard it. Okay, Erin is wearing a black robe. I believe it is called habit, no? All this stress is playing havoc with my memory. I should have done more research for this job. At least I can recognize that there's also one of those on my chest. I can't refresh my memory letter. Focus. Ok. Fait qu'il y avait pas grand chose là non plus, malheureusement, guys. C'était pas une victoire. Il nous reste la chambre à Peter, la chambre à King. Peter, on va y aller en dernier. King, il n'y aura rien là-dedans, c'est quasiment sûr. Je pense qu'on va avoir The Nightstand is empty. La fameuse chandelle. The candle was picked up and put back on the table. Donc, pas ça va changer grand-chose. I can still see small drops of blood on the sheets. Parfait, bye bye. On va monter. La chambre à Peter, c'est la dernière qu'on va faire. C'est là qui était. Je voulais monter, je voulais pas aller en bas. Oh, Enzox. Mais avant ça, on cherche. Donc, Enzox est dans son lit. Bien sûr, Enzox est here. I can even see the imprint left by his body. Le fameux livre. A book of hermetic philosophy. It would make sense that Trevi would be interested in alchemy. Oh, elle, c'est quoi par contre? Intéressant. The medicine chest that belongs to Trevi. It seems there are a few dangerous substances in it. Oh, intéressant ça aussi. Les clés. Room keys hanging over the bed. Sarn hangs the key of available room here, but only Sarn has the cellar key, and it's not on the keychain. There are four keys here now. Kane, Sean, Lianis, and Vincel were the original owners. Intéressant. La chandelle. La chandelle est toujours intéressante. These candles are used in the guest rooms, and then the rest of them are stored here. Cool. Yeah. Although Anzax has woken up, he still lays in his bed. The only difference now is that he can play his lute. Tout ce que t'étais la dernière nuit. What did you do last night? And did you notice anything peculiar? Let me think. Vivi gave me a potion before I went to sleep, and then I slept until morning. Really? Did you hear something? No. I was unconscious the second I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, the sun had already risen. Very well. À propos de ton combat, judging for your injury, I almost thought you didn't expect me to spring back into life in only one day, right? Correct. So, given our current circumstances, it may have been nicer to stay comatose for longer. By the way, I have heard it said by the doctor that unconscious people have very peculiar dreams. Is it true? Peculiar? Yes. I did see something in my dreams. I saw a blue dragon, along with his adherents, soar over the land of Draconia. Wait, what are you blathering about? I did not want... And look, blood and fire descending upon the once fertile land, burning away all the great achievement that Draconia had. False idols built in the image of the fire dragon, and the crude, ugly, and blasphemous place built upon the scorched earth. And newborn dragons, without the elders' wisdom, will be led back to Draconia by ancient instinct. In the eyes of dragons who had not seen the dragon god, the false god's light is less than a tenth of the dragon god's brilliance. At the very least, Only one tears of betray could easily deceive young dragon hearts. Wait! Stop! Enough! I don't have time for this! Ah, sorry, I'm so focused. About the lute. Do you play the lute as soon as you wake up? Your diligence is admirable. This is my job. If I couldn't play, I would have to find something else to do. I assume it was more of a hobby. It was, at first, but now, it is the only thing that interests me. But ever since I decided to make a living of my music, it feels different. Did Peter have any problem with anyone here? How should I know? Merci, Adele. How should I know? I'm not exactly up on current events, given the coma and all. True. Enzox is still Enzox, holding his smooth and well-polished flute. His fingertips flick between the 6 strings, and his tails beat a rhythm on the edge of the bed. The bandage on his head have been removed, and he's wearing an old grass green vest and what appears to be a long sleeve shirt with torn sleeves. Sure enough, his resilience is impressive. Bye bye Enzox. On a bien aimé te parler, mais c'est tout pour le moment. Ok, donc on retourne, on va voir la chambre de Peter. Je pense qu'on a pas mal, on est rendu là. Please wait, I'm still examining the body. I should go and collect the evidence and the testimony from other places. Wait, what? The first floor needs investigating too. Look at all this blood. Yeah, right. Although not everyone can give useful testimony, asking everyone is still necessary. I know that. Ok, on va parler avec lui. On va voir, peut-être qu'après ça, il va nous dire comme « Hey, j'ai fini! » Le body sérieux, qu'est-ce que le body a l'air? Is there any progress on the autopsy? I'm performing it. Don't rush me. Your whereabouts last night, donc où étais-tu last night? What did you do last night? I slept soundly last night. Why? Because Enzox was playing that blasted lute. So what exactly did you feed him yesterday? Tincture of valerian root. Did you really think he would believe that? Valerian root was the primary ingredient of the medicine? He wore a silver beak mask. A silver beak mask. A silver... Okay, c'est ça. And the silver on the surface of the mask was blackened and eroded. But most doctors believe that this layer of black silver tarnish could better protect them from the disease. But Trevi is wearing a mask to examine the body, or perhaps to hide his expression. Ah. Mais oui, j'ai checké. Oh no, j'ai oublié de checker quelque chose dans la chambre de Roman. La porte, merci. The door to Roman's room was not opened by violence, and the lock was just opened by time. Quelqu'un a utilisé la clé, mais il était plus dans la même tank. On retourne là. On a sûrement fini. Non, on n'a pas fini. Ben oui, mais... J'ai déjà checké ça. Vous vous rappelez, là, quand on a été dans la cuisine, on a vérifié les couteaux. J'ai cliqué ces couteaux, puis j'étais comme, pourquoi qu'il disait rien? There is a paring knife, a vegetable knife, a bread knife, and one knife that has gone missing. Ben oui, mais c'est ça, j'ai cliqué. Aïe aïe. Which one was missing? The knife has gone missing. Okay, that's it. Ah, ok, on va retourner en haut. Hein, d'un coup, des fois, qu'ils me disent, hey, on a oublié ça aussi. Fait qu'à être là. Why not? Et voilà, c'était juste ça qui me manquait. Damn it! Bloody footprints extend to the door. Yep. Il y a du sang partout, on va vous dire. Ah, pauvre Peter. Pauvre Peter. Le couteau. A hand knife was stabbed into his chest. I look close, trying to find anything left by the murderer. I see no fur or paw prints on the knife. Okay. His expression still looked relaxed, like he just fell asleep. If you ignore the blood, with a knife. I have prepared the autopsy file for you. Ask me if you don't understand something. Thanks! Il a pas l'air d'avoir lutté. Blood flowed down the wound and stained the sheet and clothes. Il a pas l'air d'avoir lutté pour sa vie, right? Tu viens de trouver Peter mort dans la chambre d'Erin il y a 30 minutes. Le temps de la mort est environ il y a 3 heures. Pete a plusieurs blessures dans dans sa cage thoracique. Causées faites par le fameux ham knife qui a été retrouvé dans son corps encore. Ça a blessé ses organes internes. Okay. C'est ça, je disais, pas de l'air d'avoir de signes de lutte ou de bagarre ou de quoi que ce soit. Was found with a quilt covering him. Intéressant. Il y a du sang là, par exemple. Ça c'est louche. I opened the nightstand. A room key is still inside. It must belong to Peter. Intéressant. Blood spilled all over the nightstand and the ground. Juste aller voir, je peux-tu explorer son chest sans... Non. Sheets are blood stained. C'est ça. C'est genre? Ok, c'est des sheets. Good. Ça c'est le nightstand, right? Ah non, c'est ça. Blood sprayed on the wall. From the shape of blood stains, Peter began to spurt blood while he was laying there. Okay. Tac, la chandelle. I open. Oh mon dieu. The windows are tightly closed. Although everyone knew last night, it is feasible to enter the room from here. At least the killer didn't leave via the window. I think the evidence I have now is not enough to start the trial. Did you wish to call everyone here to start the trial? Maybe later I need to collect more evidence and testimonies. I will come back later. I've searched all other places. Time to focus on the crime scene from now on. Ok, y'a rien d'autre à dire. Bon ben, hein. Mais... ouais, ok, non, y'a rien d'autre à faire là. Comment je fais pour partir le... Ok, comme ça. I think the evidence should be sufficient for now. And now, to complete the puzzle, we need everyone. Qui vous pensez qui aurait pu commettre ce meurtre-là? D'après vous, c'est qui le coupable? C'est pas facile, parce que là... ça commence à en faire beaucoup. Il y a de moins en moins de personnes de vivantes. Donc, c'est pas évident. De plus, on ne sait rien. C'est elle. Tu penses que c'est Elegant qui a fait le crime? Ce serait quand même drôle qu'on joue le personnage qui est... qui nous a fait switcher pour que ce soit Elegant. Ce serait fou. Ça pourrait être Solar qui est dans une rage meurtrière aussi. After a true search, I ask everyone to come to the hall for trial. Il reste plus grand monde, hein? You seem a little nervous. Oh, do I? You're crumpling the hem of your dress. So am I. First time adjudicating? It doesn't matter, because the great Enzax is here to help. I doubt I will get help from someone like you. Thank you. Let's start with the simplest. Don't mind me. Roman spoke habitually, but then remembered the situation and covered his mouth. Very well. Let us rule out the simplest case first. Okay, let's go. C'est parti. Peter was... It's quite obvious this time. That much is clear. You got it right, for once. Peter should not be able to stab himself so many times. Then, peacefully covered himself with a quilt as he took his final breath. Peter couldn't do this, but someone else could have done it for him. Are you suggesting? Let us assume, for the sake of argument, that Peter committed suicide. The scene could have been arranged by someone like this. Peter was not murdered, it was suicide. Peter stabbed himself with a hand knife from the kitchen into his heart first, then pulled out the knife, fell on the bed, and died. Sometime later, another person entered the scene and arranged Peter's body on the bed and covered it with a quilt, so that it looked like he was still sleeping, and then inserted the knife back in, causing multiple wounds. The one who did it did so because they wanted to frame Romans for Peter's death. Something feels off. Time to press harder for further information. Sit on the bed. Why did he commit suicide while sitting on the bed? Would it not be better if he laid down and did that? If he wanted to stab the knife into his body, sitting would definitely be more convenient. If you lie down and try to stab down, it would be difficult to push hard. He probably wouldn't be able to get a deep enough puncture. Fascinating. Perhaps it might be more convincing if you would provide a quick, personal demonstration? No! What if the knife was pulled out after he fell down to the bed? Isn't that harder to do? The knife would sink in deeper if it had fallen on his back. Reasonable, but not quite convincing. Why was he stabbed so many times? To make it more look like a murder? Only to frame Roman? Why did he do so? I don't know. Maybe they had some kind of blood feud? Or maybe he just hated Roman that much? Talk about leaping to conclusion. Once more, from top, please. What do you mean? I mean, for you to repeat your testimony? Peter was not murdered. It was suicide. He stabbed himself while seated on the edge of the bed to make a wound deep enough to be fatal. And then he pulled out the knife, because it would be hard to pull out the knife if he fell down on the bed first, then collapsed. Sometime later, another person entered the scene and arranged Peter's body on the bed that covered it with the quilt, so that it looked like he was still sleeping. Then, in order to make it look worse, they stabbed the body again, leaving more wounds. Someone here hates Roman, so they wanted to frame Roman for Peter's death. So you think Peter was seated on the edge of the bed, with his chest spraying blood everywhere? That's right. Then it seems to contradict the evidence. What? Wow. Okay. Here it is, huh? Blood in the seat, blood spilled on the nightstand and floor. There was a large splatter of blood on the wall. From the splatter's pattern, the wound spilled blood. While Peter was lying on the bed. Bloody footprints left. The blood. The blood covered the whole room. Which spot do you mean? The stain on the ground. C'est pas ça que j'ai cliqué. He was on the edge of the bed, and the blood was all over. What's the problem? Nope, I guess. The stain is on the wall. Ouais, s'il est assis là, tout ça est possible, j'avoue. You can easily follow the direction where they come from. If you trace the pattern back to their origin, so you can see they come from under the pillow. Which means the blood spurted onto the wall when Peter was lying in the bed. If Peter killed himself, as you said, then the blood spray would be impossible. Hold it. Wait, what? That is to say, Peter was killed by someone when he was lying in bed. If it was a murder, then the prime suspect is... Hold it! As a wink and gesture towards me while making a noise. If you keep going, won't Roman become dead? I glared right back at him. We can bypass the ruling out of suspects and move straight to the prime suspect. The prime suspect for now should be... Who is the prime suspect? On the Bushwood met us a Roman, right? On the Bushwood met us a Roman. Ooh, we're in. I'm sorry, Roman is still the most suspicious one. Why, this is hardly a professional opinion. I must say that there is an excess of evidence pointing to Roman being the killer. First, the bloody shirt. The fact that you insisted on being the night watchman last night, which will give you the opportunity, and the footprints leading from the crime scene to where you were found asleep. Honestly, anyone would think I'm the killer. But I'm not. I know I don't have any proof, but you have to believe me. First, let us hear your statement. Alright. Yesterday I had to keep watch at night in the lobby. Due to my heavy cold, I fell asleep. Then when I woke up, you already know the rest. I've been on the ground floor for the whole night, and I never went upstairs last night. I have to keep watch? What do you mean by had to? I mean, I didn't want to do it at first, but I felt like it was necessary. You still have a cold? It takes some time to recover from a cold, even a mild one. It's pretty normal to feel exhausted while ill, which is exactly why I assert Roman shouldn't have been the night watchman. Very well. How could you even fall asleep? Admittedly, I am hardly one to talk about falling asleep at inopportune times. It's common to feel exhausted with a cold, which is exactly why I assert. La même affaire, really well. Didn't go upstairs. How do you explain the footprint leading to you if you never went upstairs? They're obviously planted. If I actually committed the crime, I wouldn't have been so careless. Perhaps you deliberately chose not to clean up the crime scene. That's way too far-fetched. I want to hear your testimony again. Fine. Overman. Although I wasn't exactly willing to serve as a watchman last night, I still agreed in the end. I suffered from the cold for recent days. Feeling exhausted, I dozed off. When I woke up, you already know the rest. Seriously, I never went upstairs during the watch. Someone was obviously trying to frame me by making those footprints. Hold on! What's wrong? Something feels off about one of your testimonies. Wait, one of your testimonies. No, Sababo Romans of the his clothes were clean and there was blood on the sole of his boots. His boots looked like a little cook. Okay. On the floor by the fireplace was a bloody rag with scorched edge. The fabric is the same as the shirt Romans was wearing. Blood in the hole, the bloody prints in the hole led all the way to Roman. The door up to that room. No, okay, ça peut pas être ça. Pas être ça. It's a globe, filmer. Okay, Roman's testimony. Roman was too sleepy to make it through the vigil because he got out. When he was half asleep, he heard a rustling noise. His room key had been in the right pocket of his overcoat. Okay. Locked in the guest room. Peter had a quarrel with Roman yesterday and suspected it was Roman who had started a series of murders. Peter thought that he was in danger, okay. This one, I think? Was it? Definitely again. What evidence conflicted with Roman's testimony? Ah, j'aime pas ça que ce soit ça. I never went upstairs during the watch. Someone was obviously trying to frame me by making it with those footprints. How do you explain the footprints? You never went upstairs, they were supplanted. If I c'est ça, c'est correct. I mean, I didn't want to. Okay. Okay, c'est quoi son premier testimony? Alright, yesterday I had to keep watch in the lobby. Due to my heavy cold, I fell asleep. Then when I woke up, you already know the rest. I've been on the ground floor for the whole night, and I never went upstairs last night. Okay. I'll give you someone else. Okay. Perhaps you deliberately chose to not clean up. The crime scene is too far-fetched. I want to hear your testimony again. Although I wasn't exactly willing to serve as a watchman last night, I still agreed in the end. C'est lui qui l'a proposé, me semble. I suffered from the cold for recent days. However, est-ce quelqu'un qui dit que okay. Peter thought that he wasn't a juror. Okay. C'est ça. If I remember correctly, you insisted on to all the posts of the watchman yourself last night. You could have easily refused due to your illness, but you still agreed to it? Can you tell us what your reason is? It's only because I couldn't stop everything that happened during the past few days. I only did this because I was feeling guilty. But there's so much evidence. And again, what do you think happened? Alright. Oops. Oh mon dieu. Mais là, j'ai même pas eu le temps de faire quoi que ce soit, guys. Il me semble qu'on est trop loin. First thing first, the weapon. What is a weapon? The murderer is blatantly showing us that the weapon is the missing hand knife from the kitchen. Il y a trop rien pour éviter que ce soit Roman, genre. This is how the puzzle fits together. Okay, the suspect burned the underclothes. Ça c'est vrai. The suspect went back room to get the clothes. Okay. The suspect agreed with Peter. Peut-être. The suspect killed Peter. Oui. The suspect went back downstairs. Oui. The suspect fell asleep during night watch. Pas nécessairement. The suspect went to the kitchen to get a knife. Okay. Whoa. Dans quel autre qu'on devrait mettre ça? Went back room to get the clothes. Ok, été chercher peut-être ça en premier. Ça. Pour le mettre dessus, je veux pas pour que ce soit ça le truc qui soit. Il a été tué qui est Peter. Went back downstairs pour brûler les shit. This is how it happened. That's it. Les suspects. The murderer is. Qui c'est que vous pensez? Qui c'est qui aurait pu vouloir framer? Treevy? Tu penses vraiment que ce serait Treevy? Ça serait spécial que ce soit Treevy. Logiquement, ça peut pas être Anzox parce qu'il a pas joué de son lutte de la soirée, parce que l'autre qui avait donné une potion. Ça peut pas être Roman, right? Ça pourrait être Sarn, parce qu'il n'y a aucune serrure qui a été forcée. Sinon, l'autre possibilité, ça serait que ce soit Erin. Parce qu'ils ont changé de pièce, oubliez pas. Hello Magistique, ça va bien, merci. Et toi, comment vas-tu? C'est pas lui. C'est pas Erin. Ben voyons donc! C'est les deux possibilités que j'avais dans ma tête, là. Ça peut techniquement pas être Vincel. Ils vont juste nous faire dire Roman, t'sais. As much as I do not want to admit it, as far as I can tell, the murderer had to be Roman. Alas. Bon, on n'avait pas le choix. J'aime pas ça. About the motive. What motivation did Roman have to kill Peter? The conflict. Roman and Peter had an argument. Do I really seem that mean? So this is how the case goes. Hold on. When everyone was asleep, you went into the kitchen and took the ham knife. Then you went upstairs silently. You went back to your room first and took a shirt with you to block the spurting blood. Then you opened the doors to Peter's room and stabbed Peter to death in his sleep. Then you took off your shirt and went downstairs and threw it into the fire when you were in the hall, but unfortunately, it did not burn completely. You fell asleep before you were able to clear away the footprints. Is that so? No, something is clearly wrong. What is it? Hold on, let me think. It's you. You did it. I didn't want to believe you could do something like that. But now I have to admit that I was wrong to believe in you. No. Don't come any closer. I believe in you, pure nature. I can't believe it. Is Roman really the culprit? Based solely on the evidence available? It could only be him. Wait, no. I must have missed something. I may not have it figured out. I may not have figured... Oh man. 2 secondes. Une petite gorgée d'eau pour... I may not have it figured out yet. But I know the puzzle is not yet complete. I need to stop them before it's too late. Wait! I still have a few questions. What? But your summarization pretty much locked everything down. Ah, there it is. There's the piece I was missing. Thank you, Enzox. What did I miss? Qu'est-ce qu'il dit? Locked everything down. Qu'est-ce que lui a dit, là? Sorry. Ah non. What? Mais pourtant. The keys? What? What? On the first day at the tavern, Time said this. How many keys does each guest room have? 2. One set is for the guest. If the room is empty, I hang it by my bedside in the attic. In other words, the night the crime happened, only Tsarn and Peter had a key to that room. Moreover, the door to the room was locked this morning. If its habits remain consistent, Peter must have locked his door well before the incident took place. Therefore, the murderer must have somehow obtained the key. First, I need to be sure which key the murderer got. The key the murderer got was... Oh boy. Ça peut pas être la clé de Sarn parce qu'elle est pas sur le truc en haut. Logiquement. La clé de Peter était dans le locker. The one Sarn had. What? That's impossible! My keys are all accounted for, and I haven't let them out of my sight. Sarn took the keychain from his waist, whatever, and counted the key one by one. See? Front door key, the cellar key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, the 8th key. Wait, where? It can be. Sarn turned the keychain around and shakily recounted the keys. I'm missing a key. Now that we know which key the murderer has stolen, we should figure out when the key was stolen. When did the murderer steal the room key? Oh my god. Quand est-ce qu'il a manqué? Quand est-ce qu'il a manqué sa clé? Right, quand est-ce qu'il a perdu ses clés? Il me semble que c'est le 25 décembre qu'il a perdu ses clés. The murderer stole the key from Sarn on the 25th. Christmas Day. Let me think. On that day when I went down to the cellar. That's weird. What is? I remember leaving my keychain on the counter, but now I can't find it. Maybe you put it somewhere else? Maybe. I clicked OK. But after a while I found it, on the counter again. So I didn't think much about it. Did you recount the keys when you found the keychain again? I didn't think it was such a big deal at the time. Why would I have thought of counting it again? Since then, were the keys always with you? There's one more. My key is locked inside my room. The keychain is pinned on my waist. Take it yourself and return it afterwards. Okay. Wait, the door's open again. I didn't dare take them off because of the 2 murders that happened. There you have it. The murderer stole the key from Sarn on the 25th. If Roman isn't the murderer, then who opened Roman's room? That was simple. Le truc qu'il nous a dit, hein. Il est où? Non. C'est ici, peut-être? Ouais. Roman's testimony mentioned one thing, which made me very concerned. How did the murderer get Roman's key? Roman heard voices when he stayed up. Roman fell asleep when he stayed up. Roman's key moved. Roman said that his key was originally in the right hand pocket of his coat, but when he woke up, the key was in the left hand pocket. In other words, someone took the key while he was asleep. In short, the killer had to have access to the key to both rooms. But like you said, Roman could have had access to both keys. True, Roman has not escaped suspicion, but now that we have 2 possible suspects, when you lost your keys, they all happened to be in the same general area at the time. One was Roman, the other was... Kieran was the last one to take the keychain, that is for sure. But come to think of it, he failed to use that key then. My key is locked inside my room. The keychain is... ça va m'en faire. Okay. Maybe there was another who had a chance to take the key. It was Mansell! C'est lui qui l'avait pris la dernière fois. I locked him in the cellar. That's impossible! Besides, Aaron was the last one to take the keychain. That's for sure. But come to think of it, he failed to use the... Oh non, mon dieu. On relira pas ça à chaque fois? No, It wasn't really possible because you had not locked the cellar. What? Did you forget? What was the evidence that Sarn had not locked the cellar? Non, il n'y a pas rien là-dedans qui a rapport avec ça. Non. Mais voyons, il n'y a rien. Il n'y a rien là-dedans qui suggère ça, non? The knife will occur about. There was no hair on the knife in Peter's chest. His clothes were clean and there was blood on the soles of the boot. No. On the floor by the fireplace there was a bloody rag. No, ça n'a aucun rapport. Blood spilled from the... Non, le blood n'a aucun rapport. The blood, non. In the corridor, no. The key beside Sign's nightstand, ouais, non, ça n'a pas rapport ça non plus. The clothes I found in the drawer feel similar to the ones of my client wore. Non, c'est pas ça. Because when he was, he heard a rustling noise. Mettre une noise. Mais non. J'étais... Non. Look, every guest room. Peut-être. Il a pas parlé du cellar, right? Had a quarrel with Roman yesterday and suspected it was Roman who had started? No. Peter thought it wasn't danger enough for her to swap rooms with their in. No. I thought you had the key to the trap door of the cellar. When you testified today, you said like this. Every guest room was locked. This, I really forgot it. In other words, Vincel could have escaped from the cellar. I don't believe it. I didn't mean to accuse you of anything, but Vincel can easily open the cellar door and come out. He wouldn't be able to break the rope or untie my knots. He couldn't even free himself from the bondage, much less steal my keys or kill someone. Vincel was indeed tied up in the cellar today. Only one way left. Il y a un acolyte ou quelque chose de ça. I would like to confront Vincel face to face. We have discussed enough. Okay, I'll go fetch him, then. Thorn took a step towards the counter, ready to squeeze through. Wait a minute. Do not bring him up here, please. How can we give testimony if he doesn't come upstairs? We go downstairs to ask him. What's the difference? Just go down there. I came to ask you what you did last night. Did you notice anything wrong? How could I know? Talk! I was here the whole evening, doing nothing but sleep. That's all. Nothing else? Nothing else. Gotta find a way to let him speak. Elegant! What? Over here! Is that... I found the key! Where? Behind the barrel! Here! And I've got it! And I discovered something else. Though I don't know what it could mean. What discovery? When the cellar was first built, the iron chain of the barrel rack was handed over to the blacksmith apprentice for practice. That apprentice has a few sandwiches short of a picnic. The chain he made was hinged without grinding its smooth. Every time I touch it, I'd scratch my scale. Over time, I tried to avoid it and not touch the chain, so it developed a layer of frost. So what? I just glanced when I picked up the key and saw that there was a lot less rust on the chain than usual. So what happened? Normally I would take a more deceitful approach to making Vincel talk. But Roman, I doubt he would accept anything other than logic and fact to solve this case. The last thing he needs is more stress. As annoying as it is, perhaps I should do it his way. How should I do this? Do it my way or do it Roman's way? Guys. Je vous laisse voter. Ok. Que faire? Oh. Elegant ou Roman? On y va du côté de la logique ou du côté un peu plus félin, donc elle va peut-être être un peu plus agressive. Je vous laisse voter puis on décide ensemble qu'est-ce qu'on fait. Vous avez un gros 2 minutes pour le sondage. N'hésitez pas, c'est on construit l'histoire ensemble. Personnellement, peut-être que j'irais plus du côté à Romans. Mais le côté aussi, le côté des, comme déductible et tout ça. Mais Romans a déjà essayé de faire parler Evansel, ce qui n'a jamais fonctionné. Fait que peut-être que le côté d'Elegant pourrait mieux fonctionner pour le faire parler. Peut-être qu'il aurait plus peur de ça. Mais si notre cher ami est un criminel hors norme, peut-être qu'il ne se laissera pas imposer cette tactique-là, puis qu'il va falloir le confronter de toute autre manière. Ça reste intéressant comme choix. Il y a plusieurs façons de voir, mais on sait que Elegant a senti les gants, a touché les gants de Vincel, puis elle pense que c'était son client. Donc, il y a une autre information là-dessus aussi qui est intéressante. Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez? N'hésitez pas à répondre au sondage. Allez-y, il est là pour ça. Je vais prendre une petite gorgée d'eau pendant ce temps-là. Déjà à la base que ma voix est pas super ce soir. Ok. On avait plus que 30 secondes environ, guys, pour voter. On y va du côté d'Elegant ou du côté de notre fameux Roman. Je pencherais vraiment vers Roman, mais c'est vous qui faites le choix. Donc vous savez que si ça tombe à 50-50, mon choix va aller vers Roman. Vous avez tendance à me faire ça souvent. Donc, ok, Roman 2 contre 1. Intéressant. On y va de ce côté. Merci tout le monde. Je suis intrigué de savoir qui aurait aimé ça aller du côté d'Elegant. Faites-vous savoir dans le chat, même si c'est anonyme, c'est pas grave, c'est juste pour le jeu après tout. Ok, donc on y va. À ton avis. Oh ouais, look! Tu voulais y aller de la manière forte! I should use the method Roman liked the most to get the information from him. Fair and direct questioning. Peter was murdered, and now you are the suspect. Go upstairs. Peter, my good feline, how could I have done it? Vincent twisted erratically as Soren carried him upstairs. By the way, I already know why you are not willing to disclose the motive behind the attack on Anzacs. Oh. You agreed with Anzacs to keep it secret. Hey, Wake up! You are an indifferent murderer who has no motivation other than killing. But there was a common figure in these two cases. Do you mean... Ben oui, voyons donc. Ok, là je vais vous expliquer quelque chose, ok? J'ai été choisir les deux autres parce que quand j'ai répondu it was aiming at someone else, ok? Avec Roman, ça a fait ben non, c'est pas ça, voyons donc. Pis ça a tout été dans le champ. Your target was not, in fact, Zach's. In both cases, one person was involved. That person is Erin. Peter was killed because he and Erin had exchanged rooms without your knowledge. And Zax was injured by a sabotage on Christmas Eve because Erin asked him to get his belongings. In both incidents, Erin was the one who would have been the victim, but who happened to escape by accident? Logically speaking, if the real target of both cases was Erin, and the killer was you, then your refusal to disclose the motive to Organizers suddenly makes sense, because you never intended to Organizers at all, because that would attract the attention of your real target, Erin. Exchange room? Yes. They exchanged their rooms in private. Anyone would have made that mistake. Unfortunately, this was not done in private. Why would no one would kill Peter by mistake except Vincent? Parce qu'ils ont échangé les rooms durant la journée, fait que tout le monde a vu ce qui s'est passé, right? Swap room with Erin and they agreed to do so. Everyone in the hall knows about it, exactly. At that time, when they were talking openly about exchanging room in the lobby. But it was impossible that no one heard it. No. Just let this go. Erin and I didn't even know each other. I thought you knew each other. Les gants. The pair of gloves in your room drawer reminded me of something. When I received the task of investigating the Cathedral of Saint Isaac while in Hallat, I accidentally touched the glove of my client was wearing. They feel exactly the same as your glove. And your store is in the same town. You expect me to believe this is a coincidence? I did commission someone to investigate something, but it was nothing to do with this. Really? Sure. A weak smile flashed across the Vincent lips. Think carefully, my dear Philin. Do you really want to go down this road? Do you know what will happen if you break a confidential contract, don't you? Now I understand why the detective refused to involve themselves with criminals. If I revealed that Vincent was my client, I would be in breach of a confidential contract. That meant no money. And I already spent my advance on this ridiculous outfit. But if I give up here, Roman will. Then, in the future, I will amend my contract to prevent murderers from threatening me into helping hide their crimes. I may be a mercenary, but even I have standards. Vincent stared at me, then snarled as his bound body leaned forward. Now, back to the case. You once again missed your actual target because Peter and Erin switched room. Because you had no idea of the exchange, you went straight to the room Erin had been stayed in, unaware that the person inside was actually Peter. After that, you took it for granted that you killed Erin, not Peter. Which is why you have the key to the room Peter was in. Shut up! Oh boy. As splendid as that long lecture of yours was, aren't you ignoring the most fundamental problem? What? Thorn completely tied my hands. And I didn't expect him to be that quick. I had hoped my momentum would force a confession. What? Do you think there's a way I could kill someone with my hands tied behind my back? I almost have him. Focus it again. It is not as if you cannot pick up a knife with your hands tied behind you. Is gibbering the best you can manage? That was too far-fetched, but I cannot think of any other explanation. Hold it! Roman! Il va nous sauver! Since there's no way he could commit murder if it is tied up, why not assume he wasn't tied up when he did it? It hardly seems easy to untie, but wait, I think I understand. You want me to not to consider the situation of being tied up, but still be able to commit the crime. But to consider he was not tied up when he did it. That is to say, l'autre, as-tu rajouté quelque chose? Non, pas là. Cellar chain. Tarn just mentioned that the iron chain in the cellar is very sharp. Also, the rust on the chain has been rubbed off by something. So, Vincel used the sharp chain to break up the rope. But Vincel's still tied up right now. How do you explain that? That's because... He grasped. After Vincel broke the rope and did the deed, he went back to the cellar and made himself look like he was still tied up. Make himself look... Can you do that? Easily? You see, Vincel did not need to really tie himself up again. The broken ends of the rope were not reconnected, which made it easy to Vincel to feign capture. You see, the broken ends of the rope currently is in Vincel's hands. As long as you hold the rope end firmly, you can fix the shape of the rope around you and give the illusion that it is secure. What? How could such an absurd thing be true? If you disagree, all you have to do is open your hands. Splendidly played. Vincel shook his head and relaxed his arm. The rope fell loose and coiled around Vincel's feet like a dead snake. I give up. Finally. Then let's just put the puzzle to right. Nice, okay. Hey, that's it. Il voulait pas. Here's no doubt that the weapon is still the hand knife. Modus operandi. And now, to complete this puzzle. Ok, les affaires ont changé. Donc ça on le sait, c'est le dernier. Burn the clothes. Okay, jump out of the window. Fuck out. The suspect stole Roman's key, oui. Robbed of the rope, oui. The suspect befuddled Roman. S'il y a quelqu'un qui sait ce que ça veut dire befuddled, j'ai aucune idée de ce que ça veut dire. Donc, un mot que je ne connais pas en anglais. Celui-là, j'ai jamais entendu ça. J'ai jamais lu ça, j'ai jamais entendu ça. Donc, si quelqu'un peut m'aider là-dessus, ça serait très apprécié, guys. Ok. Donc, rob the rope. Stole the key. Kill him. He burned the cloak. C'est sûr que c'est ça. Mais si vous savez c'est quoi befuddled, je sais même pas comment le dire. Tellement que c'est... En tout cas. Ok. This is the true sequence of events. Donc, le suspect, c'est Vincel. The murderer is no one but Vincel. Motive. The motivation is more clearer than before. The motivation was his hatred for Aaron, although he missed the correct target twice. I wanted to point out this connection between the familiar gloves, St. Isaac's Cathedral, the noble brothers, and the monks, and the relation between Vincel and Aaron. But if I do so, my identity would be exposed. This is how things played out. Confus, ok, parfait, merci. Bon, ouais, on sait qu'il n'était pas confus. Merci, Océane. Vincel had been waiting for revenge after injuring Enzax by mistake and being tied up in the cellar. During this period, he did two things. First, he never mentioned his motive of hurting Enzax. Second, he broke the rope using the center chain, then rebound himself and held the ends in his hands to make it look like he was still secured. In the middle of the night, Vincent quietly opened the cellar door and snuck into the hall, where he saw Roman, who was asleep. Seeing Roman asleep, he took off his shoes and put them on his own feet. Then... C'est sûr qu'il a arraché la fourrure, voyons. Vincent stole his room key. Then he went to the kitchen and took the ham knife. Then Vincent went upstairs with a knife and stole one of the shirts Roman had brought with him before putting his real plan into motion. Vincent opened the door with the key he had hidden in advance on the 24th. That was the key to the room Irene had been sleeping in. But the person he killed was actually Peter. Vincent took his shirt to prevent blood from splashing, killed Peter with the ham knife. Then Vincent went out downstairs in bloody boots. As he passed the fireplace, he threw his shirt into it, redressed himself, then walked to Roman and stuck the bloody boots onto his feet so that the tracks would lead to him. Thinking his mission accomplished, Vincent went back to the cellar, tied himself up, and waited for the outcome to play out. In the end, I couldn't finish it. Well, since you're about to execute me, I might as well explain why I wanted to kill that obnoxious hyena. Your reason is better be good, or I'll make sure your death is long and slow. All of you have heard of the construction accident at the capital of Saint Isaac, right? It was said that the noble brothers who oversaw the project would use inferior materials to build the church and enrich themselves, and were buried in the collapse as punishment for their greed, yes? Could it be? In fact, one of the two brothers survived and was found guilty of malfeasance. He lost his title and his property, and at the end of his right pinky cut off. Pour ceux qui portent toujours des gants, Vincent pulled off the glove of his right hand, exposing a greatly shortened little finger. He left Riff, changed his identity, and set about rebuilding himself as a merchant in a small town called Allant. But all this time, he never forgot what happened, and when the time was right, he decided to take revenge to the abbot and the friar who falsely accused and framed him. I... falsely accused? Framed? How could you? Even before the building of the cathedral, the amount that was being paid to the nearby church were curiously low compared to the attendance numbers. It was thought that the Cathedral of Saint Isaac would be able to fill both a spiritual and financial gap. My brother and I both believe and trust the abbot, at least until the stone pillar snapped and collapsed on us. Vincent wiped his eyes and raised his head again. But since it's pretty clear God doesn't want to make me revenge, I really have no other choice. Vincent shook his glove, and a small bottle tumbled out from where his right pinky was and fell into his hand. He pulled the stopper free with his teeth, spat it out, and downed the content in one gulp. Wait! You should rejoice. This is the only enough for one person. Vincent collapsed against the counter. The bottle rolled on the carpet and stopped, and a mixed scent of bitter almond and apple filled in the air. Trevi approached, checked his pulse, and shook his head. Sarn hesitated for a while, and then stepped forward, and hoisted the corpse up by his armpits and began dragging it to the door of the pub. Wait, let me pray for him first. Okay, Elegant and Roman, please give me a hand down here. Everyone else, go upstairs and rest. It's still early, and I think everyone is tired. It's finally over. Thank you, Elegant. I'd have been my neck in the news if you hadn't trust me. Well, at least I figured one thing out. What? The person who hired you to investigate the collapse of the Cathedral of Saint Isaac was Vincent, wasn't it? I believe it is. He also came from Allen Town. He was directly related to that matter. Even the material of his laugh was the same as what my client wore. The reward. It matters little. I had yet to start the investigation, so it is a mere loss. A mere massive loss. I paid through the nose for a disguise I can no longer use. But something bothers me. Why did Vincent not notice it was Peter in the bed and let him in? Vincent is a lynx. So he should have had excellent night vision. Well, could he see clearly in the cellar? This may sound strange, but he failed to recognize me several times. But he didn't have any problem in the hall. Nyctalopia. Nyctalopia? A type of vision deficiency. If you don't eat viscera or carrots for a long time, your night vision will gradually weaken. Although, I didn't expect exactly catalog Vincent's eating habit. I think it may be the best possible explanation for now. It seems that maybe, when Sarn cooked carrot stew, Vincent refused to touch it at all. Well, I think I'd make my way upstairs then. Phoebe squat and hold the rope down to lower the ladder. Speaking of strange things. Ouais. Les deux, c'est louche. Puis Treevy n'a pas demandé l'aide de Roman alors qu'il l'avait demandé avant, right? Since when can you move the ladder by yourself? Things started to fix the blasted thing. Although the ladder has been moving quite a lot, there was no strange sound. Because the track is not as smooth as before. I can barely operate the ladder. Well, if it's alright with you, I'd like to go collapse in my room. Mind if we talk later? Very well. Good morning then. Roman unlocked his door and stepped inside. Then, the testimony. Could we go over it? Sure. I should probably rest too. I fell into my bed and tried to relax, trying not to think about the massive fee that had just evaporated. When I regained consciousness, the first thing that hit me was pain. Indescribable pain. The once splendid stones and slates pressed down on my chest and stomach. It was like trying to breathe through a thick layer of cowhide, covering my mouth and nose. I could breathe out, but not breathe in. Brando, are you okay? My brother reached out for me with trembling hands, and quickly lapped Brando. Brando is Brando. Not good. And I could smell the blood in the narrow space. Brando! Please, leave on. Remember to... For me... Don't say that. Hold on. Someone will find us. I don't know what these last thoughts were, but I'd like to think they were this. Avenge me. Les pensées de Vincent quand il était Jonathan. Chapter 5, Spectre. My God! Le premier chapitre qui est lisible. On n'a pas fini. On n'a pas fini. Day 5, 27th December 1285. Even though I slept all night and just took a nap, I still feel so drowsy. Encore on est revenu avec Roman, intéressant. But fortunately, I think my nose is clearing up. Maybe I can smell something now. I got up, my entire body felt sore and stiff all over. I just go downstairs anyway. The smell of stew meat filled the corridor. Probably best not to think about what kind of meat it is. You finally woke up. Seeing me come downstairs, Sarn picked up a tray and came to me. Look! I'm sorry for suspecting you. I apologize for that. He took the soup bowl from the tray and set it before me. Bon appetit! The stewed meat in the bowl was piled up like a hill, higher than the edge of the bowl. Even the soup looked ready to spill over the edge. If nothing else, Sorn's apology was straightforward. Although I'm pretty sure I saw his thumb dip into the soup when he passed it to me. I took a spoon and shoveled some soft, overcooked meat straight into my mouth. Seemed that the snow kept the horse meat cold enough. Some gossy empty legacy. Cold enough to store, which might have explained why it still tastes fresh. It's not exactly good, but it's better than nothing. I'm tempted to take another nap after eating, but there's more important things to do than sleep. Seems that Elegant's job was directly relevant to Vincel's motive to committing the crime. I need to ask her about that, and thank her for saving me as well. As for Vincel's stray target, c'est de qui? Erin. Vincel's target must have been Erin. I should ask her face to face when I have time. Her? C'est une fille? Well. Is. Well, no, that doesn't sound because it's really. Okay. I sat opposite from it again, and her tail seemed to swirl under her robe. So, one quick question. Speak? This job of yours. I see no need to continue. You already knew the truth. I know enough. Although it may have more to do with the fact that my client is dead, and I would not be paid as a good way. Sorry to hear that. Maybe I can make it up for you? Spare me. I know your pockets are empty. At this point, a nice hot meal will do. I can afford that. Des fois il reste là, puis des fois il reste pas là. Can't believe Vincel was one of the noble brothers. Maybe it was fate, or coincidence, or just bad luck. But it would be hard to convince others with just his love and his last little fingers. Starting from scratch in an unfamiliar city, I must admit that is actually quite impressive. Well, he can certainly distinguish different spies, since he was once a noble. I can't believe someone as clever as him killed 2 innocent people and still missed his target. Not everyone has a talent for the art of murder. So the friar Vincel mentioned already is Erin. Maybe you should ask him yourself. Okay. And what now? Thank you for believing me. But you are welcome. Trust is a two-way path. I sat by Trevi, who was still reading his giant book. You think Erin is the friar who framed Vincel and his brother? Should be. You already have the answer, right? Do you think he'll be back to take his revenge? Isn't he dead? We nod. Didn't expect you to believe in ghosts. At this point, anything seems possible, even the impossible. What about Vincel's nyctalopia? Could you explain it to me? It's mostly conjecture. If he really was night blind, then he must have been a picky eater for a long time. Not eating guts for only a few days won't weaken your eyesight. What exactly was that poison he drank? Judging from its smell, it was like apple seed extract and a bit of juice, with maybe some flaxseed as well? How could apple be poisonous? If they are, then why would anyone drink cider? Apples themselves are not, but their seeds are. If you collect enough seeds, you can extract a strong poison from them. I'm doomed. I've chewed a lot of apple seed. Aren't they too bitter to chew? I'm too lazy to spit them out. Oh well. Okay. Okay. Alex is busy washing dishes in the kitchen. He's clearly not good at this, and he's not bad enough to break plates. Alex, hold on. He rubbed up some soup in the plate with his soft paw pad, dipped it into the water, then rubbed his claw on his trouser. Thank God I never touched his pants. So, what's up? Why are you doing the turn setting it at a break? He must be utterly exhausted by all these accidents. And Lex put the ball and place aside, grabbed a chunk of meat and began to cut at it. Can't believe Tarn trusts you enough to cook in his kitchen. Even Kane wasn't allowed in here most of the time. It's less a matter of trust and more that I volunteered. It's just tired. And Lex streamed the fat on the meat, then cut the rest into small pieces and threw them into the stew pot. Do you cook often? I have to say, you look like you know your way around the kitchen. Never in White Star. But other tavern keepers sometimes ask me to do some chores when I can sing for my supper. Don't expect much, though. As long as you don't serve me something cold or burn, I won't ask for more. If all my dinner have such underwhelming expectation, then I may have found a new calling. Your hands aren't shaking anymore. I hope you fully recovered. I do hope so. Though lately I have had quite a few old dreams. Not that I'm complaining, my dreams are far better than the stories I made when I'm awake. Does writing down your dreams count as stealing your own work? So, do you think Erin really is the friar Vincent mentioned? I'm not sure. But if it is the one who ruined Vincent's life, then I'm gonna smash his head in with my loot. Hey, that's a little extreme. He looks like he's going to cook some meat for dinner. Tarn must be really tired. He never allowed Zax in his kitchen unless he was desperate. Disabled, c'est pas quelqu'un. Tarn leaned on the barrel with a half cup of cider in his hand. This is the first time I've seen him drinking. Why do you come down here? Right. I didn't expect you to be this easy by the first cup. Doesn't explain why he never drinks. And Zach's cooking. Seriously? He's it's better at it than you. It's a tough job. I cook for myself all the time. But it's not cooking if you only cook for yourself. Will you still keep this tavern open after everything's over? I don't know. What? No way you're telling me that you quit. Where will I find cider as good as yours? If I can live. Still the snow stop. I'm pretty sure only a lunatic will pick you up as a target. How long will the snow keep falling? We're running out of water. Thank God we have some clean snow, so that will help. It snowed for all 4 days. It must have an end. For a while there, I thought you would execute me. What are you talking about? How would I ever think of you as a murderer? Tu l'as déjà fait, tu m'as déjà tué. Okay, maybe I did, just for a second. Je sais pas pourquoi il faut aller parler à tout le monde, by the way. En fait, il faut parler avec Erin, mais c'est pas grave, ça prendra pas tant. Right. Okay, what do you plan to do after the snowstorm? Return home clearly early, so I can confess. Is she planning on traveling to Colorado overnight? Well, you're doing the right thing. I was afraid that you were planning to run away. But now, it just seems that I'm being paranoid. I I'd cause a lot of trouble for the rest of us if you did. Why? Why would I? What if Aaron truly is the friar whom Vedsel mentioned? He couldn't be. Surely someone as devout as him wouldn't be mixed up in such business? Because you haven't seen how he gets when he's drunk. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to doubt you, but the way the scene was set up deceived me. That's not your fault, honestly. There was a moment even I suspected myself. I won't doubt others that easily anymore. That might be overdoing it. Never hurts to be cautious. Oh, Ian. Aaron was kneeling by the window with a pie crust, muttering something fervently. Our Father, I was formed in evil, and in sin did my mother give me birth. I confess my sins on my hands, feet, tongue, eyes, and thoughts to you and your angels. May your punishment... I better wait for him. Plug my hands, so that I may give salvation to those in need. Plug my feet, so that I may walk on the thorny road to praise your gospel. Well, he has a lot to say. Plug my tongue, so that I may cherish every time I sing your praise. He's still there. I'm starting to wonder if this will last until next Christmas. Touch my eyes, so that I may pity the unbeliever of your glory. It's still going. Whisper to my mind, so that I may be washed by your truth. May your grace lead me safely to shore. This is taking forever. Probably best to interrupt him. Whisper to my mind, so that I may be washed by your truth. May your grace lead me safely to shore. Ah, ok, il a juste ça à dire maintenant. Our Father, grant mercy upon my soul, for my body is sinned. Our Father, give your mercy on my soul, because the sin has been made manifest. May Almighty you forgive my sin and... Knock knock, sorry for bothering you. Detective, I didn't see you there, sorry. Aaron turned his head towards me. The fur at the corner of his eyes was streaked down onto his cheeks. My sins are unforgivable. I guess he really is penitent. But I have paid for my crimes. Paid? Did somebody smash your head with a loot? I have resolved to pray more devoutly in order to make good the sins of my youth to God. What about your sins toward the other? God will ease their misfortune and salve their wounds. That's not what you said when you changed the room with bitters. This is different. I can do good works within the teaching of God, but I see now that I don't have the power to carry out his ineffable plan. So what are you going to do then? Keep praying and hope a miracle happens? I will keep praying, and when it is time, God will grant me a revelation. Which is a fine way of saying, do nothing useful. Est-ce que quelqu'un est dans les attiques? Il n'y a plus personne à parler. Tout le monde est mort. Mais je suis pas pour faire toutes les... I can't even smell any trace of pain in this room. It's only been 3 days. Je suis pas pour faire toutes les chambres pour elle. Peter is gone. But the smell of blood won't fade for a while. Il est gone! Pourquoi tu nous le montres? I'd better get out. I can't smell Sean's scent here anymore. Yeah, this is gone. There's no one in Vincel's room anymore. The cap of the spice jar in his case must have come loose, and as it fills the room and it make it smell like an old spice shop at the street corner. Then again, it isn't all. It saved me more time just to ask her directly instead of rummaging through her stuff. No, I didn't probably. I just do something relaxing in my room. I turn to a random page in my book. On 14th May 1280, Elio II inspected the Karnak block in person to learn how the residents leave, whatever. Karnak block is an underprivileged area in our capital, Riv. When Elio II arrived, the friars and sisters in the church were giving out food to the residents. Elios II gave high praise. Elias gave high praise for the mercy, kindness, and piety, and had his meal of relief grain with the resident. Elias II inspected the street through Karnak in the company of the medical officer of Karnak block. The tidiness of the street comforted Elias II. He felt great satisfaction after he learned that, after the epidemic of dysentery, cases of the wretched disease had been zero for 3 consecutive months. This is not the Karnak I knew. What to do? Well, just try again. No such thing as too much sleeping when you catch a cold. Hey, qui va mourir? The snowflake fell from the skies, covering my head and shoulders, but there was no need to stop and shake them off, since I was only a few steps away from the door. Walking into the white store, I put my overcoat on the hat stand and sat by the counter. Yanis and Kane were chattering and laughing. They stopped for a second to wave to me, then continued their topic of whether Apollyon would stand a chance against Draconia in the war. Tarn shrugged behind the counter and put a cup of cider in front of him. The door was pushed open as Peter carried a bag of carrots and came in, shaking the snow off his body. Tarn opened the counter door and took the bag. Then he pulled out a handful of seed and stuffed the coin into Peter's pocket. Okay, I miss them so much. What's next? Personne. The light died down outside the window and flames danced on the pine logs in the fireplace. The smell of the stewed meat from the kitchen is making me feel hungry. Anzac's cooking skills are better than I thought. I sat at the table next to the fireplace. Bon appetit! Anzac put the bowl on the table with his lute in the other hand. Why are you still holding your lute? Will you care for some music during dinner? I think I'll pass. Anzac's stew is actually not bad. Le clic droit là, pour ça, par exemple, là, quand je l'accroche une fois de temps en temps pour absolument rien. Him and Sarn came out of the cellar and ate some. Then again, he could just be too drunk to care. Dinner just peacefully passed, and Sarn began to sober up. I didn't expect my cider to be so strong. Just a single cup almost knocked me over. I think it's all about your tolerance level. So that's why I never saw you drink. You're lightweight. I'm not! And here I thought a mighty specimen could handle a tinsy bit of cider. One more word out of you, and I start charging for you for your bed. Please, no heaven, mercy! Have mercy! Wait, how do you test the quality if you don't drink it? That's what you guys are for. Oh. So every winter you give us free cider? You're doing experiment on us? I get some knowledgeable drunkards to test my cider. And you get free cider. It's a win-win. So, do we still need a watchman tonight? Or should we just... I better not mention it since I'm the one who fell asleep during my watch. I knew it. Arian, who had kept silent the whole meal, suddenly interrupted me. I'm going to prove that no matter what I was before, I've changed. That I now walk the right path under the guidance of God. But it may be the paranoia talking that I couldn't but consider the possibility that Aaron might slaughter us all when we sleep. Anzac twitch. Seems like I wasn't the only person thinking that. Thank you. I know it's not exactly easy. I was intending to be the watchman, but I'm afraid at this point I'd fall asleep. I thought sound just glanced at me. Thanks. I hope you all can trust me. For although I was tempted by the devil a long time ago, I have rid myself of my sins with God's guidance. Oops. Trivy got up and rescued his box from his spilled cider. The overturned cup rolled in a smooth arc across the table, causing cider to drip down the edge of the table. Black it all! Sorry for interrupting. I have to deal with this. Trivy quickly ran upstairs with a cup of water. He even tried to take the steps 2 or 3 at a time, but stumbled instead. Such a precious manuscript! It seems the good doctor is rather unlucky. More than just him, it seems. Everyone in this tavern's incurred bad luck these days. Yeah. Thorn hung his head and rested his elbow on the table, his claw on his snout. The snowfall seems lighter now. Maybe by the morning. Don't say it! Such things won't come true if you speak them aloud. Alright. I didn't expect Solar to believe that kind of stuff. I had a secret friend once. She taught me many things like this. Secret friend? It was in my childhood. Once a month, father used to give me a basket of flowers, which he had collected from his garden, and sent me to sell them at the market. Once I was selling pomegranate flowers to an alchemist who sold love potions at the fair. She bought a handful of flowers and passed them to her daughter. That's how we met each other. Since then, I went to find her every fair day. And on those days, I would show her what I learned in my etiquette lessons, and she would teach me things. How to make some simple potions, how to avoid bad luck, and the creation of charms. You know, Cain would have gotten along well with Solar if only it became their cook. Then, I heard that her mother was burned as a witch, and so was she. Well, well, Thorn's head had slid from its butt, and it began snoring softly. Oh dear! It seems he has his limits. Ligon got up. That's his hand. Elegant got up and walked past Charn. She paused and gently touched his shoulder, but continued on without waking him. I think I'll go back to my room and get some sleep. Good night, everyone. Are you following me? Is there something you want to talk about, then, Private? Well, I just wanted to get your opinion before I went to bed. Will it happen again among the rest of us? According to what my information I have collected, the rest of the lodgers were total strangers before they came here. Tarnan and Zax knew each other for a long time, but they've never had any problem before. So, there should be no further problems, so maybe you should be careful. What? No such thing as too much caution if you have a dart on someone. If you're talking about Salor, I've spoken to her. There shouldn't be any problems with her. Not just her. You mean? Elegant glanced at the staircase, then rose up on her toes and whispered to my ears. Hold on, not that one. I'm half deaf, remember? Sorry, my mistake. I turned around and listened to her whisper with the other ear. Hear him. Seriously, he swore he's repented. Just as, I believe, Lunatic swore he would be faithful to Solar at their wedding. And all those who offered to keep vigil at night these days tend to, well, no offense. Good point. Well then, I wish you a good night, Roman. Good night, Elegant. I locked the door and bolted the window. Like Elegant said, no such things as too much caution. Maybe tonight I can sleep peacefully. Maybe tonight, right? I couldn't be more familiar with the taste of snow, a salty taste like rusted iron. Truly overwhelming, all of their tasted. From the first snow of winter to the last one in spring, I won't miss any of them. Oh, you think you're tough? You're tough. Come on, get up. Is this all you got? Did you break your leg or something? Move, you idiot. Oh shit, it's really broken. Stop standing there like an idiot. Run! But what about him? Are we just going to leave him here? We don't have time. Just go. That day, there was a heavy snow as well. That day, he was there as well. He was there as well. D6, 28 December 1285. The key palette. I was awoken by a loud, heavy pounding on my doors. Roman! What? Someone grabbed my wrist, and I opened the door and dragged me downstairs. As I opened the door, and dragged me downstairs without a word. Hold on! What happened? The lobby was filled with the scent of booze, and a dozen or so empty cups were piled up on the counter. Hyène was bent over the counter with half cup of cider in his hand. Is he drunk? Non, il est clairement mort. Il va avoir du sang là en plus. Just as I was about to condemn Hyène for drowning himself in cider and abandoning his body, a familiar smell, just barely masked by the alcohol, caught my attention. Blood. Hyène's pupils were empty and enormously dilated. The silver pie crust was stained with dark red spots. The back of Hyène's head was black, not from black-colored fur, but dark, congealed blood. The smell of blood and cider filled the air of the hall, like it was trying to seep into the carpet and the brick of the walls. Hyène. It had to happen eventually. Eventually, he escaped from Vincent twice, but I guess the third time's the charm. Don't blame this on a ghost. Look at how many people are still left in my tavern. Only 6, and one of these 6 only lives because we can touch her. No matter who the murderer is, I can't take this anymore. But stop investigating. I am so tired of people lying. Besides, Hyène wasn't exactly innocent. No. I know Hyène did something unforgivable, but it doesn't matter what his past sins were. Execution without a judgment is not allowed. That's why I want to keep investigating, but I respect whatever you decide. Certainly. I go find Trevi to do the autopsy. Thank you. Sarn passed me the keys and hurried upstairs. Okay, let's go, on y va. Qui a pu commettre ce meurtre-là? He was there. He was there. Qui était dans son rêve? Qui était là? Qui a réalisé qu'il connaissait avant ça? The mug is in Hyène's end is all full. Menu of White Star. Hyène's body is leaning over the counter, staring into the distance with a vacant expression. I better not do anything before Trivia has a chance to examine it. It's not that I can't do an examination myself, but it's better to have a professional physician do it instead. Several empty mugs piled on the counter. Will follow it please examiner. A wooden cup. One cup can be drunk from for a long time. Au moins, il y a plus de sang. A candle likely unrelated to the current investigation. Non, pas pour vrai. Ok. On n'a rien là. What's taking Trevi so long to come downstairs? Hello. Sorry for making you wait for so long. We just got ready. It's okay. I'll go take a look elsewhere. Trevi rubbed his eyes with his sleeve and covered up his mouth to hide his yawn. Sorry for waking you up this early. It's okay. This is my job. Bon, ben, t'as gagné là. Let's go. Le livre. Previous weird book with a fuzzy image of a dragon and weird symbol, which I can read. Okay, it's almost dry after being sucked inside her last night. Alien, I live too. Trevi's medicine chest, impressively cumbersome. I opened the chest, there's a lot of drug in it, laxative, antidiarrheal, sleeping pills. Trevi's bed, it was one of Tsar's bed. Je sais pas pourquoi, je pense tout à Trevi parce qu'il a échappé le bug. Something heavy was here and left a remarkable impression. Tsarn key holder, he gave the key to empty rooms here, but only Tsarn has the cellar key and it's not on the keychain. I checked the keys, they belong to Kane, Sean, Peter, Vincel, and Yadis. C'est ça. Tsarn bed, there were two beds, ouais, c'est ça, ok, ça on l'a déjà vu. Nenzok's bed, he sleeps here almost every time he comes to White Star. Something heavy was here and left a remarkable indentation. Encore? Gosh. Nenzok has his lute on his knees and was whipping it with a cloth. Suddenly noticed the thumb of the varnish was missing from the back of his lute. Nenzok? What? What happened to the back of your lute? It's just a little ding up. Did it hit something? I must have accidentally scratched it on the banister. He turned the lute towards him to hide the damage. Suddenly, a tiny glass bottle dropped out of the lute hole and onto his side. Nenzok covered the bottle with his paw and tried to slip it back into the sun hole. What is that? What's what? Don't pretend. You know why I saw it. Fine. Nenzok lifted the lute by the neck and shook it until the bottle fell into his palm. It looked like it was all full of a dark liquid. It's just some belladonna juice I got a long time ago. I take a few drops when I need some inspiration. Tout est trop louche, toi là. So, what are you going to do with the White Star after all this? What am I supposed to do? Keep running it, of course? After all this? Don't you think customer might think? Who knows? Not like I'm a god or something. All I can and should do is to keep this tavern running. Sure, the atmosphere might never be the same, but it's better than closing up shop for good. What did you do last night? When I went upstairs last night, there were still a few people in the hall. I checked every door to make sure they were all locked. Then I went up to the attic to sleep. Who was still in the hall when he went upstairs? Let me think. Aaron, of course. He was on night watch. And Nenzok was playing his lute by the fireplace then. I guess he was worried that he might become unfamiliar with his lute due to the coma. Solar too. She didn't want to go back to her room yet, so she stayed in the hall to listen to Nenzok's music. That's all. Parfait. Ok, fait qu'on peut pas y dire quoi que ce soit de plus. Erin's Bible is in the drawer and a rosary on the bedside. Ok, fait que rien de dans sa chambre qui va nous aider là-dessus. Parfait. Elegant. Elle est pas là. No more change in these names. Looks like Elegant finally learned the lesson. Elle non plus, elle est pas là. J'ai-tu manqué quelqu'un? Pas personne ici. Pas personne ici non plus, mais il n'y a rien d'avoir de l'air d'avoir là. Body remains. Did you finish the autopsy? All is ready. You can go investigate. Is the book dry? Well, what about your book? Is it still readable? Oh, it's fine. It's almost dry now. What do you think, Evan? Well, if you'd like me to guess, The murderer poisoned Aaron and struck him on the back of the head when he tried to call for help. Ah, ok, je pensais qu'il avait fini. That's faster than I thought. Well, it seems to be pretty simple this time. There's blood on the back of his head. I looked close and it wasn't caused by that sharp weapon. He bled a lot, though it wasn't fatal, like insects. Arian's pupils are dilated. His face looks purple from suffocation. I have prepared an autopsy report for you. Ask if you don't understand. Thanks. The mug in Aaron's hand is all full. Ah! Better not touch that! Why? I think that cider is poison, though I'm not positive. That's just my assumption after examining the body. Okay. La main? No. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. I should investigate the hall. Maybe there's something on the second floor too. Although not everyone can give useful testimonies, asking everyone is still necessary. Poison with belladonna? Collect 42 belladonna berries during the full moon, grind them with half and unpeeled with lemon, then filter it to make a potion. Every real small dosage will cause euphoria, but any more would result in death by suffocation. Judging from his symptom, I think he must have been poisoned. Such a coincidence. What? And Zux owns a bottle of belladonna, and the bottles are full. C'est louche. There's nothing in the pot. A chopping knife on the cutting board. The stored water ran out, so trying to put snow in the bucket. We could use it as clean waters. No fire in the kitchen range. Tous les couteaux sont venus là. Try and wash the ham knife and put it back. Good to know that we don't have any ham now. There's nothing in the pot. C'est bon, on a pas trouvé élégant. I don't need to use the bathroom now. The flames in the fireplace have died down. Y'a rien d'autre qui a l'air d'avoir l'entour qui est suspect de quoi que ce soit, c'est ça le problème. Y'a rien d'autre nulle part qui a l'air d'être suspect. Can't find elegant anywhere. Is she in Vincel's room? The door swung open before I inserted the key into the keyhole. Weird. Why? What's going on? Do you usually lock a door after investigating a room? Of course, why? The door to the room Vincent stayed in was open this morning. Perhaps somebody opened his door in order to convince us that his ghost took his revenge. Intéressant. Intéressant. Vincent's giant chest and full of spice are lying all around. Ça c'est pas un... Ok. Je pensais que ça aurait été un indice, mais non. Bon, last night. Wait, why am I bothering to ask? I went upstairs with you. Then I went back to my room and slept. The window must have been open for a long time since there's so much snow on the sill. It seems to have been open the whole night. Soren said he made sure that all guest rooms were all locked. Could it have been opened this morning? Or perhaps you searched here but forgot to lock the door? This is the first time I've set foot in Vincent's room today. If anything, I thought you'd pick the lock to get inside. Ok. Je pense qu'on a pas mal fait le tour, là. Je pense pas qu'on ait quoi que ce soit d'autre à chercher nulle part, là. I actually dislike the smell when I could sense it. But now what comes to me is only memory. Y'a rien ici. Bon. Non, on n'a pas été voir le corridor, c'est vrai. On y a-tu parlé? Non, il a pas parlé à elle. What do you plan to do after the snowstorm? Richard, oui, on y a parlé. What did you think happened last night? It may sound strange if I say it aloud, but I think that Aaron was killed by Vincel's ghost. How is that possible? An old friend of mine told me that if someone died with strong resentment, they would linger in this world as a spirit until they get what they want. Let's make something clear. Usually, we don't take ghosts into consideration if we still have living people as a suspect. Pas grand chose à checker ici, right? From near to far. Oh, non, c'est ça, les pièces, on s'en fout. The ladder leads to the attic, Siren did some percussive maintenance, so it no longer makes any noise when it moves. Cool. Ah. On va les questionner. Enzox. Ouais, non, c'est la même, exactement la même affaire. Okay, do you know how Aaron died? I don't know. I only heard from Tarn that he died last night while he was on watch. We suspect the cause of death is belladonna poisoning. What? No, I didn't do it. I used it only on myself. I certainly hope so. Enzox. Ok, parfait, c'était déjà fait ça. Lui, y a-t-il quelque chose de nouveau? Nope. Y a-t-il autre chose ici qu'on peut trouver? On l'a déjà tout vu. A remarkable impression. Did 3 minutes in chess. Ok, déjà là. Blablabla. Ouais. Il neige encore pas mal. The round skylight in the attic roof. I can see light coming through it. Still piled up on the skylight. Fine. Candle. Je pense qu'il est tanné que je clique sur Candle. Pile of junk in the attic, including stuff like ropes and angel's wings used for an April costume. Ok. Mais là, sincèrement... je pense pas qu'on ait autre chose à faire là-dedans. C'est parfait, c'est la même affaire encore. Elegance kit bag, a common bag, which you can present everywhere. The back mount is closed. Bon. On va voir dans ma pièce, mais je pense pas qu'il y ait grand chose qui ait changé. Hein. I lost one shirt. At least I didn't lose my life. My notebook and the evidence collected in my last case are in my drawer. I put the arrow back into the evidence bag. Ouf! On le lira pas. Il a toujours pas fermé sa fenêtre. Nothing's wrong with the window. Je vais juste retourner dedans le Vencel. Je vais juste checker la porte. On peut pas checker la porte. Pas rien faire finalement. D'un coup, des fois, il y a quelque chose là-dedans. Là, on est canceller le gauge. Parfait. Rien à dire là. I open the door and a powerful smell of blood rushed into my nose. I don't want to step in this room unless it's necessary. Candlestick. There's no more sand on the below. Good. Bye. Réalité, mais j'avais pas fouillé. On va juste fouiller vite fait. The only double bed in the tavern. Usually no one would rent this room. Just underwear. They don't told me so. Thought I could check it for myself. The mug is empty. Then Bell the next used to summon Chow. Now nobody would bring or respond to it. Un Kendall. C'est parce qu'il est donné que je paye ces Kendall. Ok. Là, je suis un peu embêté. On va juste aller vite dans ici, juste pour fouiller un peu. I hope Tarn didn't ring with this yesterday. Barrels are laid neatly on the metal shelf. Good. There's no one in this chair. Non, pas pour vrai. Incroyable. Kitchen, on l'a tout fait. La toilette, là, je commence à manquer d'inspiration pour vous chercher. Là. Several white hairs are floating in the water and they are certainly not mine. Fine. Je me suis regardé dans la miroir, mon cher. I really need to get my hair cut after the snow. I want to check the autopsy report again. Alright. Herein, male hyena, about around 30 years old. Body discovered half an hour ago, dead for about 8 hours. The body was found bent over to the counter with a cup in his hand. Rigor mortis was set in. A wound caused by blunt force trauma was located on the back of the skull with obvious but not excessive bleeding. There is bruising on his face as well. The body's pupils were extremely dilated, whatever, and it shows sign of alexia. These symptoms suggest it was poisoned with belladonna. That is all I found. Then go search elsewhere for yourself. I'm not a detective. There's blood on the back of his head. It looked close. I looked close, and it wasn't caused by a sharp weapon. He bled a lot. Ça même affaire. Ouais. Oh, come on. Ok, ça c'est des purges. Tu cliques sur le nez puis il parle des pépés, ils vont te parler des pépés peu importe ce que tu vas cliquer. Wow. Menu of White Star. Fine. Ok, la même affaire que tantôt. Finalement, ça ne nous mène pas nulle part. Là, regardez la scène de crime. Cutter full of mugs. C'est juste ça qu'il va dire. The oven isn't on yet. C'est ça, je les regarde toute la gang. Y'a rien qui me strike vite de même. C'est quelque chose que je manque à quelque part. The vase on the fireplace, ouais, fine. The face of the fireplace has died down. A feather bug. Wooden spur staircase. Fine, y'a rien. Wool carpet. Ça c'est tout le carpet. Le mug, y'a rien d'autre, je vois pas. Qu'est-ce qu'on pourrait trouver d'autre? Ben, maybe the murderer had stayed in his room. Parce que j'ai essayé de la... Vous vous rappelez que j'ai essayé de la regarder, la maudite pièce, non? The windowsill. J'ai essayé de regarder la porte. Right? Je peux pas regarder la porte. Je peux regarder le window. is open, snow piled up on the windowsill. Was this also set up to confuse us? Hello? Comment je peux checker la porte si... Sign said he made sure that all guest room was unlocked. Could it have been open this morning? Or perhaps you searched? No, je peux pas dire. Ok, ça va pas. Mais voyons donc. When it says that again at the end of this room. No, only me and it again are still here. Y'a rien à dire? Y'a rien à dire. Je peux même pas... Non, ça me donne rien de pas le faire vite de toute façon. Nothing's wrong, ok. Je peux même pas interagir, Lure was locked. Je peux même pas interagir de même avec sa porte. On va aller voir les portes de tout le monde là. Celle-là non plus, je peux pas interagir avec. Hey, College Jekyll, bienvenue à vous tous. Merci pour le raid. Ah non, on a un problème. On a un sérieux problème. Bienvenue dans Roman's Christmas. Y'a rien nulle part. On est en train de résoudre probablement le dernier meurtre du jeu. The drawer is still empty, c'est vide encore. Ouais, là, on va vérifier la fameuse candle. Comment allez-vous? Toujours rien de trouver là, c'est bizarre. Ah boy. Bon, c'est là qu'il se décide qu'on peut sniffer. Oui, on a terminé Inside Mind mardi soir. Très bon jeu. Très bon jeu. I took a deep breath through my nostrils, trying to sniff out the murderer. Although it doesn't work all the time, it saved me a lot of trouble. The scent of blood is too strong. I can connect the sense with these people. Might as well pay more attention to the sense. Okay, let's go. I close my eyes and breathe in and breathe out slowly. Donc, qu'est-ce qui est lié à quoi? Les couleurs ont de l'importance. Ah, c'est vrai. C'est ce qui explique, les différentes races ont des différents smells, tout ça, c'est normal. The menu smell like blood and paper. Apart from Aaron's and Sarn's, no one else scent can be detected. Okay, so Aaron smells just like the surroundings. It wasn't moved by the others. Small mug. Mug smell like cider and Aaron. Aaron's mug smell like cider. Apart from Aaron's, I don't smell anyone else. Something is off. The mug in Aaron's sense should be the poison one, but it smells just like the other mugs. C'est pas normal. Truth is not always welcome. It's time to find out what happened. Let's go! Donc, dernière fois qu'on confronte tout le monde pour trouver qui a fait le meurtre. Il reste plus beaucoup de monde à comparer de comment on a commencé. Ah. Qui a tué Aaron? Tout pointe vers Enzox. After a true search, I asked everyone to come to the hall for trial. Let's go. Enzox sat in the chair with his tail wrapped around the chair leg like a python. Why, right? Sarah was whispering something to Elegant, her mouth hidden by her handkerchief. Privy stood by the counter, staring at the rag in Sarah's head. Let's go through this. Was Aaron death, murder, or accidental? Ok, est-ce que ça serait vraiment un accident? I don't think anyone will ever murder them. So you believe this was an accident? No, I believe he was killed by the ghost. Yeah, right. Le fantôme tueur maintenant. An old friend of mine told me that if someone died with strong resentment, they would linger in this world as a spirit until they get what they want. Since Vincent failed to kill Erin while he was still alive, his ghost returned to take vengeance. Let's make something clear. Usually, we don't take ghosts into consideration if we still have living people as suspect. Right, all the flashbacks. If you don't need us to choose someone in question, then I choose Venzax. Why? According to the autopsy, Erin was poisoned with a large dose of belladonna. In high doses, belladonna causes poison. Belladonna poison causes pupil dilatation and asphyxia. But in small dose, it makes bards meet with their muse in happy dreams, where they are blessed with inspiration. And you don't have a half-full bottle of belladonna potion with you, right? I drank it myself. Can you prove it? But Aaron is a priest. He wouldn't drink this much when he's on a mission, right? Are you sure? Almost everyone here knows that Aaron would have never refused a chance to have a drink. Please don't speak ill of the dead. Sorry, but we really don't have room for niceties here. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Vincent Ghost did kill Aaron. I didn't expect you to say that, Doctor. Anyway, let's figure out who had the chance to kill Aaron last night. We got the suspect this time. On a deux personnes qui ont resté en bas avec lui. Tout d'abord Solar. One of them is Solar. She went upstairs after me. That is actually possible. Anything else? Et on a Enzax. One of them is Enzax. So we assume the murderer is either Enzax or Solar for now, both of whom went upstairs after time. I demand to state my testimony to prove my innocence. Actually, technically speaking, you're still a noble. There's no need to be so nervous. That's right, but I won't admit something I didn't do. Then state your testimony, please. I didn't want to go back to my room early last night, so I stayed in the hall to listen to Enzax play his lute. At first it was clear and sweet as a lullaby, but soon he started speeding the rhythm up and the tune went pretty strange. I was a bit disturbed by the tune, so I went upstairs to go to bed. When I went upstairs, Enzax was still there with Erin, so I was not the last one who saw Erin alive. Il y a quelque chose de louche dans tout ça. Why didn't you want to go back to your room earlier? I didn't want to be alone, let alone going back to a room that was filled with his scent. I couldn't smell any remaining trace of lunage, but who am I to judge? You were disturbed by Enzax's music? Yes, and I don't know why. It was like he lost his mind. It was like an evil spirit that was urging his finger to play in that melody. I think we can just leave out the whole evil spirit thing. Oops, I'm sorry. So Enzax and Erin were the last two people downstairs. Yes. Then Enzax was the last one who saw Erin alive? I think so. That's it. Ok, donc redis-nous toute ta fameuse histoire et rajoute ce que tu viens de nous dire. Avec plaisir! Pourquoi je dis en français? You can state your testimony again. I didn't want to be alone in my room last night, so I stayed in the hall to listen to Enzax's lute practice. Enzax's tune was full of rage. I was disturbed, so I went upstairs. When I got upstairs, Enzax was still there with Erin. In other words, Enzax was the last person to see Erin while he was alive. Hold on. It's coming on. What? Your testimony obviously implicates Enzax. You basically just told us Enzax is guilty, in a roundabout way. It makes me curious. If you were so certain that Enzax is guilty, why did you say this? per you, well. Sawyer said that Vincent got killed here last night, but now her testimony makes Enzax the most suspicious one. The reason might be, why did Sawyer testify against Enzax? Why she insisted that Vincent's ghost committed the crime? Or have you been colluding with each other? None of that! I just want Enzax to prove my innocence. If Enzax confirms your statement, then you're innocent, but it also turns him into the only suspect. I guess it's my turn now. Yes, please state your testimony. Last night I played my lute for a while until I got tired and went back to my room. Hyène was still alive then. I've used up that all-bottled banana juice, and it was definitely not suitable for poisoning. Also, there was a wound on the back of Hyène's head, isn't there? I don't have a proper weapon that can leave such a wound. Regardless, I didn't poison Hyène, and I had no reason to do so. Dédouche. The little weapon. You actually always carry something you could hit somebody with. You would loot. Il s'agit pas, non, pas là. No, As a matter of fact, the paint on the back side of your loot has come off. It makes sense if it comes off when you hit someone with it. That was an accident. Damn really. I would never use my beautiful loot in such a awful way. Then what would you use? But I swear I drank that banana juice. No rush, I'm going to explain that part. What was Hyène doing when you went back to your room? Was he drunk? He was praying while counting the beads on his rosary, and he wasn't drunk. Ça c'est louche parce que son rosary est dans sa commode en haut. Could you explain where the rest of the belladonna went? I've used that bottle of belladonna juice a dozen times. Each time I drop 1 or 2 drops in my cider and drank it. It's really quite expensive, and I'm not so wasteful as to use half of the bottle to poison someone. But there's one piece of evidence that contradicts your statement. Okay. Non, Kibalian, ça n'a aucun rapport avec ça. Non, les Elizabeth n'a aucun rapport. There were evidentation, previous keys, no. The bottle of belladonna, drop accidentally. That FOT. Enemy use of the poison, a small amount that can cause a fire, okay. The murderer struck him on the back of the head, no. Qu'est-ce qui peut faire en sorte que ça peut pas être ce qu'il vient de dire? C'est ça, toi. The book with names, no. The key rack, no. Location, no. C'est weird. Photos are extremely deleted. Ça contredit ce qu'il a fait. No matter what you said, the way Hyène died is certain. He was poisoned with belladonna. And in the entire tavern, you're the only one with belladonna potion. And someone would be poisoned if they consume belladonna in excess. This seems a bit different from it being not suitable for poisoning. In short, the problem of the belladonna cannot be solved at the moment. We can only assume that it was added to Hyène's cider by someone. If we do, Hyène's death could be explained easily. It's because of the poisoning effect of the potion. This is a serious accusation. You added the belladonna juice to Hyène's cider and invited him to drink with you. You were trying to poison him. However, because the potion doesn't kill instantly, Hyène must have tried calling out for help, right? That's when you hit him on the back of the head with your loot, accelerating his death with both poisoning and brain damage. But I definitely didn't kill him. Surely there must be some way to prove that there's no banana juice in that cider, right? I don't want to believe it, but we can't really prove that the cider... Wait, I can prove it. Anzac impulsively dropped his loot and strode to the bar counter. He pushed Shrivey, who had been squatted beside Aaron's body, aside before grabbing the mug and donning its content in a single gulp. And thus, I shall prove my word to be true. Anzac, completely unshaken by what may have been an act of suicide, slammed his mug down like every time he finished his drink. Are you out of your goddamn mind? You may have just killed yourself, you giant red. If I'm guilty, it saved you the trouble of hanging me. He wiped the cider remains on the corner of his mouth with his hands and smirked, waiting for that certain moment to come. But let it not be said that I died without fanfare. The corner of Tom's mouth twitched slightly, and Zux, meanwhile, leaned on the bar counter. Expectant silence swallowed the room as we wait. Yeah, he exposed. I don't want me to be dying. And here I have my hopes up for the thing. What? I meant your innocence has not been proved. What? I just drank the whole glass of that stupid poison cider. Did you drink the rest of the cider as well? Aside from that, there is still one possible explanation. Remember how you survived from the ladder blow? The ladder on the second floor that would have killed anyone else? It clearly showed that dragons are harder to get fatally injured. It may be possible that you accurately formulated a dose of banana juice that would be fatal to Aaron, but not to you. That's nonsense! If half my bottle of banana juice is in that cider, that would have been 10 times the regular dose I use for myself. I don't even feel dizzy. And I know very well that I'm not missing any more than half the bottle. Strange, the autopsy shows that Aaron died from poisoning. How did Aaron die from poisoning? The banana juice? C'est parce que... No. Aaron must have been poisoned with banana some other way. But it only works if you drink it. The autopsy went wrong. If Envex proved there is no poison in the cider, then there's no other way to poison Aaron with it. I should reconsider the facts. Doctor, don't take this as a critic of your professional skills, but can you be 100% sure that Aaron died from poisoning? Well, because right now it seems like the real cause was the real reason of Aaron's death. It wasn't poison at all. It's more likely Aaron died from the blunt injury to the back of his head. So, it wasn't poison? Then the autopsy must have been mistaken? And you had the nerve to suspect me? Does our bond as roommates mean nothing to you, Trivy? Wait, please, I didn't mean any of this. I want to testify. Fine by me. I may have made a mistake in the autopsy report. However, the hour of Aaron's death doesn't make a difference in this case. And the time of Aaron's death hasn't changed either. In brief, I believe that Aaron was killed by Vincent's ghost. Hey, lâchez-moi avec ça. Doesn't matter. Why would you believe that the cause of death doesn't affect the final result? Because no matter how, it's caused by a ghost. Time of death, 8 hours ago. An hour before Tarn went upstairs. Wait, what? What makes you think so? Kill a ghost that's right. I think that the truth this whole time. Is it that you're trying to cover for someone? Then what's the real cause of Aaron's death? Non, je sais qu'il a pas senti son poison dedans. C'est ça l'affaire. C'est ça l'affaire. C'est pas moi une bug, il a juste été changé. The blunt injury on the back of his head. Then why did you get it wrong? Because I'd forgotten that it could also cause respiratory arrest. I'm sorry about the mistake. It's okay, you've been a great help so far. Please reorganize your testimony and add it to what you just mentioned. Okay, this is fine again. The true cause of Aaron's death is the blunt injury to the back of his head that caused him to stop breathing. However, the how of Aaron's death doesn't make a difference in this case. The time of death is an hour ago. I'm sure of it. In brief, I believe that Aaron was killed by Vincel's ghost. Phoebe, I know you don't believe one of us is the murderer, and you want to cover up from him. But you'll have to try harder to trick me. What? What are you trying to say? I'm pretty sure pacifying the autopsy and lying during testimony violates your professional ethic. I think you know who the murderer is. Why not just tell us? I lied in my testimony because I don't want to see anyone else die. I was just a slip of tongue when I said that the cause of death doesn't matter. The time of death is 8 hours ago, that's for sure. I didn't expect anyone here to have belladonna juice. Of all the blasted luck. Hey! Sorry. Of course people will think it's mine because you already said so. I wouldn't believe it at first as well. Sorry. But I really didn't kill him. Wait, I believe something is wrong. Like what? What would Exos do if he really was a murderer? You might bribe Trivy to make him change the autopsy report. That's the first thing I can think of. I don't think anyone here has the money to do that. Il mettrait clairement sur une ghost. He tried to persuade people that Vince's ghost attacked Aaron. Right. And there were 2 people who have done this. One of them is Trivy. He might have said that. Is there anyone else? One of them is Solar. Both Solar and Trivy have mentioned that. However, Enzox never talked about a ghost. If Enzox was the murderer and opened the window in Vince's room trying to convince us that this ghost came back for revenge, but then he never said a thing about ghosts. Doesn't that seem strange? Now it seems Trivy is more suspicious. First changing the result of the autopsy, then mentioning the ghost. And I have yet to figure out why you emphasized the time of death so many times. The time of death. The time of death is 8 hours ago, that's for sure. You told this. What if Aaron actually died later than we know? Like it might have been killed right before Tsarn came downstairs this morning. Not enough time for the blood to clot. Oh my. Like, is there any chance that Aaron got killed after Enzox went upstairs? Nonsense! Enzox went upstairs very late last night. Definitely not after that. How did you? I could hear you climbing up into the attic? You're not exactly graceful. I thought it was quiet. When you went upstairs, did you see Trivy in his bed? Of course. I need more detail. Oh no. I went back to the attic at about 1 o'clock at night. Everybody was asleep, so I climbed up the ladder quietly. After I climbed upstairs, I saw Trivy and Tsarn lying in their beds. The candle in the attic had gone out, so I felt my way over to my bed and I fell asleep. I was completely silent. Is Aaron still alive? How was Aaron doing when we went upstairs? I told you he was praying and wasn't drunk. Were they both on bed? Yes, but you said it was pretty dark. Both of their quilts were plumped up, and I couldn't hear Tsarn snoring. I could hear well. Okay, so you didn't make any noise. I mean, sound, except for when I climbed into the bed. I think it creaked a bit. Ok, réorganise tout ça puis dis-nous encore dans ton testimony. Ton témoignage. I went back to the attic at about 1 o'clock last night. Aaron was counting beads on his rosary and he wasn't drunk. Everybody was asleep, so I climbed up the ladder quietly. It was pretty dark in the attic. I saw about 3 and saw them lying on their beds, and their quilts were plumped up. I was sneaky the whole time, trying not to disturb anyone, except for a creak when I climbed on the bed. Wait, that's it. What? I got it. What you saw wasn't really sleeping, but... Hey, où ça va, Lise? What you saw wasn't really, but his medicine chest tucked in under the quilt. There was a visible indentation on Trevis' bed today. I guess we've got an explanation for that. In other words, when Enzox went upstairs, Trevi wasn't in bed. Then, where would he have been at that moment? In Vincel's room. Trevi was in Vincel's room when Enzox went upstairs last night. He waited until Enzox went upstairs and then went downstairs to kill Erin. It isn't like that. I've checked every door locked before I went to sleep, even the rooms that were empty. I can make sure that Vince's room was locked. I doubt that. What? Now it seems your testimony has flaws. When I went upstairs last night, there were still some people downstairs. Then I pushed every door on the second floor, making sure they were locked properly. I went to sleep after that. What is the plan, sir? Testimony. Le monde qui avait en bas. Oh, you pushed! Ben oui. The problem is, did you really check that properly? What do you mean? When you said you checked all the locks, what you really did was push each door and turn the doorknob, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If the door doesn't move when you push it, doesn't open when you turn the knob, then it is a locked door. Isn't that obvious? Let me put it this way. Didn't you use the key to check if they were locked, right? True, but it didn't seem necessary. I think the murderer could easily muddle through this level of security check. Il peut avoir lock the door from inside, mais encore là, il peut pas barrer la porte parce que la porte n'était pas barrée le matin. Simple enough, the murderer held the doorknob from inside. All the murderer had to do was hold the doorknob. Then nobody would know if the door was locked or not. That way, the murderer could hide in Vincel's room and wait until everybody was in their rooms, then go downstairs to kill Erin. Therefore, we know the time of Erin's death, the truth behind Vincel's supposedly locked door, and how the murderer killed Erin after Enzox went upstairs. Time to sort things out. Bon, let's go. Le weapon. C'est le loot pareil. Il l'a tué avec le loot de l'autre. Enzox loot. I set out that missing paint was caused by falling over the stairs. But Erin was alive when I went upstairs. Oh no. Pas le livre, ça serait complètement stupide. Je pense pas que le livre soit assez lourd pour ça. Right? Oui, non, peut-être, je sais pas. You leave. J'imagine. It's Trevi's book. My book may be thick, but it's too expensive to hit people with. And besides, have you not noticed that there's no impact mark on my book? Ooh, a book can be that little. But if add another thing to it, then you could use it as a weapon without leaving any mark on it. What turned the book into a weapon? The trick is the cider you spill on your book. The book was totally soaked by the cider, right? Both the page and the cover. Usually a soaked book would be harmless, but with the weather was the key ingredient. Il l'a gelé. If you put the soaked book outside the window, it would be as hard as a rock in a matter of hours. With an ice-covered, frozen book, even if the victim bled on it, it would be easy to clean up. and there wouldn't be any trace of the mage to the book's cover. You just need to unfreeze it inside your room after you use it. Ooh, let me do it. Modus operandi. Okay, here's how things played out. Ok, let's go. Oui, ils sont là. The suspect waited in the attic until everyone's gone. Ça, c'est pas vrai. The suspect knocked over the cup and sucked the book. Ça, c'est vrai. The suspect put the book outside Vincent's room. C'est vrai. Pas vrai. The suspect went downstairs to get with the book. Vrai. Fait que là, on a ça qui est pas vrai. Puis ça qui est pas vrai. Fait que là, il nous reste les 5 autres à réorganiser. Open the door. Hold the doorknob. Non, attendez un peu. Il y a soak le book en premier. Il est en bas quand il ça. You. Là. Open the door to Vince's room. Held the door. Là, ça c'est la question. Il a fait ça. Il a fait ça. Ça. This is a sequence of events. Good! Le suspect, ben là, c'est facile de savoir c'est qui. Je sais pas pourquoi on fait que ça tourne pour vrai. Fait qu'au final, unlock, tu vas l'avoir vu ton creepy kid murderer. You know my height, right? Besides, why would I kill him? Your height won't affect your plan. And next, I will talk about the motive. About the motivation, I've got a guess. In my opinion, the problem is... I'm going to prove that no matter what I was before, I've changed. That I now walk the right path under the guidance of God. Thank you. I know it's not exactly easy. I was intending to be the watchman, but I'm afraid at this point I'd fall asleep. Thanks. I hope you all can trust me. For although I was sent by the devil a long time ago, I have rid myself of my sin with God's guidance. Oops. Oops. What's your motive for killing Irins? I'm free from sin. If I didn't get it wrong, you overturned the cup after Aaron said he was free from his sin. Maybe I can remember clearly? I guess you didn't agree with what he said. Further on, he perhaps hurt you before. Aaron was sent to a monastery by his parents in his teens, so you started a feud with him before that. What could a teenager do to make someone hold a grudge for a lifetime? Stop! You know nothing about me! Oh my god. Don't get me wrong, I am not trying to exculpate Aaron, I'm just thinking. Bullying, right? Stop! Shut up! Looks like I'm right. To summarize, Aaron volunteered to be the night watcher last night, claiming to have moved past his sinful history. Maybe you've forgotten about him, or forgive him, but his announcement probably made you curious. So either as part of your scheme, or just sheer indignant rage, you overturned a mug full of cider and soaked your book. Vincent had committed suicide yesterday because he had accidentally killed Peter. Killing Erin and blaming it on Vincent's ghost would have been quite convincing, but you needed to help it along. You took your book upstairs, climbed up to the attic, stole the key to Vincent's room from the key holder, then opened the door, put the book outside. You put the book outside and waited until it was frozen. At that point, Sarn hadn't gone upstairs, so you put the key back in place, stuffed your medicine chest under the sheets, then blew the candles out so it looked like you were asleep. Sarn, being exhausted, wouldn't think to check. After finishing your preparation, you went back to Vincent's room and waited until all of us were in our rooms. When Sarn came to check the door, you held the doorknob from the outside to mislead him into thinking that the door was locked. Once it was done, you came out from Vince's room and left the window open. Then you went downstairs with a frozen book to confront Erin. It was midnight, and Erin was probably dead drunk, lying on the table. But you decided to make him actually dead when you hit him on the back of the head with the hard, frozen book. Then you cleaned the blood stain of the book, made sure Erin was dead, then went upstairs, moved your medicine chest out of your bed, and went to sleep with nobody the wiser. Then, when Saren came to ask you for the autopsy, you suddenly remembered that Enzox drank cider with belladonna juice, and Erin's death resembled belladonna poisoning. So you decided to put the blame on Enzox. That should sum everything up nicely. I couldn't even make the slightest guess about what Erin did to make you hate him so much, but while I can understand how much you want revenge. But still, first, do no harm, right? I don't want to say that, but yeah. It's fine. I've accomplished what I wanted to do. Dying with satisfaction after delivering my revenge is probably the best ending I could have hoped for. I wanted to fight back ever since I was young. Yet, I didn't have the strength to do so at the time. And then he went to the monastery, and I thought I'd never meet him again. Until 4 days ago when I stumbled into this tavern. It was like it just stepped out of my memories fully formed. Sure, it successfully convinced everyone that he was reformed, a proper member of the clergy. Even I was almost convinced. But after last night I knew he hadn't changed. And he never would. Well, I'd better get going. Thank you for taking care of me these past few days. Wait, where are you going? Preview wrapped his coat tight and lifted his medicine chest. I know where people like me should go. I'll go there alone. No need to help. There's a blizzard outside. Sarn moved to block the door, but he was a bit too slow. Trevi opened the door and walked out into the blizzard without hesitating or looking back. He walked slowly, dragging his medicine chest, marching through the knee-high snow. Snow blew in from the tavern's door, melting against my muzzle as I squint. Trevi's figure in the blizzard grew smaller and smaller, more and more blurred. Until at last, he disappeared into the endless white. His body was found by some street sweepers after the blizzard finally ended. He had collapsed from hypothermia, his frostbitten paws tightly clutching the belt of his medicine chest, his fluffy white fur coated with a thick layer of snow. People showed great respect to the young doctor, who insisted on fulfilling his duty even during a deadly blizzard. I've heard that the diocese is raising funds to build a bronze statue in his honor. Everything changed after the snow stopped. I went to the judiciary with Sarn. We spent a few days testifying. Then I went back to my office. When I climbed up the stairs to my office, I froze at the door at what I saw. Not expecting any visitor, I see. How did you find my office? I am a professional, Roman. Besides, where else would I wait for you so you could fulfill your promise? At least wait until I earn some money. Oh, I fear your money troubles are over for a while. After solving the White Star Tavern case, there will be a ton of clients ready to commission you, Detective Roman. Meanwhile, I nobly sacrifice my financial future to save you from something. Alright, I get it. Don't worry, I'll make sure to pay you back. Then perhaps I should stay here while I wait for the payment, just to keep an eye on you, you know? Well, only if you don't mind the mess. However, the public was more interested in the 12 people in the White Star Tavern killing each other. So, if they knew the number of patrons was 13, the story would have been even more ominous. The White Star Tavern became unbelievably popular after the incident. Some came to visit the famous homicide scene, or spend a night in one of those rooms. Though unwilling, Sarn would still rent the room of those lodgers in exchange for a triple room fee. His only request is that all lodgers must leave a white flower on the nightstand before leaving the room. Enzox was asked to stay at the White Star permanently to help Zarn deal with the guest. No entering the kitchen though. His unfinished story remains unfinished, mostly because he is now busy telling the guests what happened during that Christmas. Sometimes he also tells the guests about me, I assume. Some of my clients claim that they came because they heard my name from the best bar in Rim. As for Solar, on the day the snow stopped, she bought elegant clothing and rushed out of the tavern. I've never seen her since. Maybe she went back to Cordoba, out of the range of Apollyon's law. My friends Kane, Yanis, and Peter were left in that snowy Christmas forever. I won't be able to taste Kane's carrot stew ever again, even though I never really liked it. Yanis won't clap me on the shoulder, either. I sometimes think of what would have happened if he told me about his sexual orientation. I never be his lover, of course, but I could at least listen. I never got the chance to write Peter's letter, but even if I did, I wouldn't send it to Ella. If she had seen the letter, would she shed a tear for Peter? Although I have to admit that since that incident, my detective agency was become quite famous. With so many cases, I get too busy to sleep, even with elegant help. But I still wish that I could have prevented that incident from the start. If only I could go back to that tavern, back to that Christmas Eve. Maybe, just maybe, I could have saved them. Even if that means I would remain a nobody. Unfortunately, time can be reversed. Time to get up. Hey guys, c'est maintenant terminé. On a fini ce fameux jeu et j'espère que vous avez apprécié toute l'aventure et toutes les tournures dramatiques qu'il y a eu au courant des aventures de Romans durant ce Noël, tout à fait désenchanté. Donc, si vous voulez suivre l'action en live sur Twitch, vous allez avoir les liens juste ici. Sinon, en votre temps, je vous souhaite une excellente fin de soirée ou une excellente fin de journée, tout dépendant de ce qui s'applique à vous. Prenez soin de vous et à la prochaine. Bye bye.